Oh.
Say it, Mike. Say it again.
It's mine and Fabienne's birthday this week on Thursday.
That means everybody has to leave nice comments about them.
I started recording.
Yeah, everybody leave nice
what you were
comments to
doing.
Fabienne and not me.
You have to be extra nice to Mike
Extra
and Fabienne
kind.
this video.
So, like, extra nice, just before the point where it gets a little uncomfortable how nice everyone in chat is being.
Wait, why?
Be nice to the warlock.
Your
he's
B-days.
fragile. Yeah, it's our birthday on Thursday.
Yeah, it's our
Okay.
birthday.
Okay, before we start, hello everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
We are now fully released on episode 1, and that's like so incredibly good. We've worked so hard and done such a great job. I have a present for everyone because of this. I found an
Get
artist
out.
on Twitter who does art commissions, but they do art commissions for they have like a fun niche that I adore, and I think that it fit really well with us. I'm so proud of everyone for doing all of the so much work and finally being able to release it. Can I get screen sharing on, whoever the host is?
Yeah, I can make it happen. Hold on.
That's
here.
a Nox.
Yeah, hold on here. I gotta go to
Also,
participants.
episode 1 on YouTube just hit 11,000 views.
11,000?
Yeah, it's
Oh
huge.
my
Pretty
lord!
Yeah.
By the way, I did sit down and I swallowed my weird Adam Driver fear of my own face and voice, and
Yeah.
and it's gorgeous. It's incredible work, Momo.
Mhm.
Like, good job, everybody.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
absolutely.
So everyone can see my whole screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got an art commission of the team, but it is the disaster puppets.
Oh my god!
Where everyone is a puppet.
Oh
is
my
a Muppet.
god!
Because I thought it was stupid. and goofy.
Nox! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Nox is the one that's getting me right now.
I know! It's Nox's. That's so good.
Momo looks
Nox,
like
you
Kermit the
don't
fucking
understand how
Frog's child.
deep dived I had to go into your Facebook to get non-cosplay pictures of you.
Wait, who did this?
The artist is one second.
You
It
know,
says
I don't
down
even
at the
care.
bottom there like soda something.
Drop their info all up in the social media.
Sad Wastelander, they're called.
So
Nah.
funny.
They're so incredibly good. But
Oh yeah, I'm sharing that for sure. That's amazing.
I just want to talk about Calder and Elerie right now. Though. Actually, just everybody. I'm just going to talk about everybody. This is perfect.
Hawke's
my
little
God.
scream, I think, is my favorite shit.
I look like Miss Piggy, like about to do Muppet karate.
Straight up, Doddle kind of looks like the old man in Simpsons.
Why does Siraye look so scared?
The wrinkly
Siraye looks
raisin man.
terrified.
And Siraye is like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm the only one that's chill right now.
You can like hear our Muppet voices. You know what I mean? Like I can hear
Yeah.
Hawke going like.
Look at pants.
June looks like she knows she's better than everyone. That's messed up.
My coffee is here. My picnic.
Well, perfect timing.
I'm
Let's
gonna
one
run
last
and grab
restroom
that.
break. Everybody, whatever you got to
Yeah.
do, water, get it now. And then when
right.
Az gets back,
Pardonnez-moi.
yeah, we'll pretty much be ready. Let me get some music. The children that were scattered about the floor of the common room looked at the old man, waiting for a tale of faraway lands and heroic exploits. I suppose we were at the beginning then. The underdark, the grove, the sea, the palace, they all converged right there.
Harold, have you ever seen so many different kinds of people in such a big place? How hard could it be to find somebody that knows where Tailwind is?
You're a miracle, boy. I shake my head and quietly to myself say, there's no such thing as miracles.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a running start. I'll count to 30. 1, 2.
30, and then I'm gonna run at him and attack him.
You told me your history. I was born on that boat. Huh? That ship that your friend is dissecting.
I absolutely hate how chipper you always are.
And it'd be a good look on you, though.
If it's a riddle, I want to solve it. If it's a lock, I want to open it.
I'm a holy woman, and I'm looking for things that were taken from me and my people.
They could not begin to fathom the situation that they found themselves in. Let's all take a moment and bring ourselves back to where we began. We have pulled all the threads that started this tale out of our early sessions, and we've had a lot of successes, and we've told some new elements of this that haven't been revealed to even us. There's a lot to keep track of, and I'm fully aware of that, and I appreciate your focus and your attention. If anyone has any questions or needs to stop for a moment, don't hesitate. I'm absolutely willing to retrace our steps to make sure that we get all of this right. That said, what is right is what happens. So don't feel obligated to tie yourself down to something that you think needs to happen. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that you could do that wouldn't fit the tale, given your understanding of the characters. All of this is going to weave back into a single tale, so I hope that you're enjoying the ride regardless.
I have a question.
Yes.
Nox, are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Okay, just making sure.
I have been blown away by all the creativity that you've put into your characters, and have been really happy to explore this story with all of you. So I'm having a wonderful time. All the work that we've put into it, I think, is paying off, and I think it's well worth it. We're getting there, and this story's just started, but I can see the future. I know you cannot exactly, but I'm excited to see where this goes. So I don't want to keep talking about what we're doing. I want to talk about what your characters are doing. So let's just take a moment, focus in on the music, and just bring ourselves into a meditative moment before we start. I'll give us about 60 seconds, and then I'll begin. You're shivering, coated in sweat. Your teeth chatter. The myriad of cuts and slashes that have become a network of pain across your body burn as the grime and the dirt of this dark place have infused themselves into your very blood. Your head reels as your eyes open, and then they flutter close again as a silhouette stands over you, looming there in the dark. Tall, thin, malicious. And you lose consciousness. You're not sure for how long, but when you open your eyes again, the silhouette is no longer there. Hawke, you sit up, pushing yourself off the ground, taking every ounce of strength that you have remaining to pry yourself off of the ground. It is now your firm belief that no one is intended to suffer this way and remain sane. The vestments of Lathander are tattered upon your body. Your armor is shattered. Your breastplate cracked. Standing in the corridor to your right, staring down at you, is Gwarth. your former mentor, hideously deformed by the fire, and then is gone, disappearing right before your eyes. Smell of the oil that he uses upon his blade. It lingers. Water drips from the ceiling, and strange, faintly glowing fungi scattered across the floor cast a strange magenta purplish hue across your face. Your trial here in the Underdark is overwhelming. Your flesh is beginning to look like your spirit. As you stumble through these corridors, you don't know how long you've been walking. Those waves of memory have confused you to the point of being utterly lost. Were they memories? Was it a dream? You find yourself in an open chamber. You see a sword in the center of this enormous cavern. There is no light here at all, but that sword is so dark that against the shadow, you can see it. Its hilt forms that of an outstretched raven. In a thin puddle, water dripping around it, a skeletal form strewn out next to it, rusted, decayed armor, a bony, empty glare. What do you do?
I stumble forward, breathing heavily. I don't have a weapon, do I?
You do not have a weapon. It has been lost to you.
I'm going to reach out and I'm going to inspect the skeleton first. See if there's anything to identify it at all.
It must have been here for 100 years. The armor is rotten. The bones are picked clean. There are strange mosses that have grown themselves, fusing the bone and the armor with the stone itself. Its grasp is still firm upon the sword, and the sword looks untouched. The blade itself, perfect, unblemished. And yet, the last individual to bear it, it seems, has not been so lucky. Your blood is dripping here, and it mingles with that pool of water as you stand over it. And the blood merges with the blade. You do not feel as if you're alone again, but it is not Gwarth that stands before you. It's something else. Another silhouette, different than the first. Stepping forth from the dark corners of this place, it seems as if 1,000 small shadow birds have joined together to form the silhouette of a woman standing before you in flowing gowns and a veil. You cannot see her face, but you feel her eyes upon you. Beautiful lost thing. What do you seek?
I want to live. And I'll kill them all. Every single one of them, I'll kill them.
Is this world so worth your vengeance?
I have nothing left but my hate for them.
I can take your pain. I can make you strong. If you accept me, and me alone. I have always been with you. Do you remember the wall there in Baldur's Gate? Do you remember my messenger? On the day of your confirmation into the Church of Lathander.
You were the raven that day.
I am the Queen of Ravens. I am the Queen of Shadow.
If the light's willing to abandon me, I'll take the shadow.
Tell me your name.
I answered I was her Hawke. And that's what I'll be. I'm Hawke. I'm your Hawke.
Take the blade.
I rip off my vestments, throw them on the ground, and I pick up the weapon.
Hawke, as you grab the weapon, everything goes dark. And you scream as all of the living pain of your life is pulled from you. And flashes of memory begin stacking themselves before you. Your entire life. You hear Kara crying. You hear your sister. For a moment you feel her hand upon your shoulder, and then you see her outside of your body as if you were looking down, standing there holding the shredded vestments that you have thrown aside. And when she looks up, her face is rage. There is an almost musical clinking of bottles. Calder, your boot is lying about 3 meters away from you. Your eyes work themselves open, and in your hand is another empty bottle. You're underneath the docks. As you wake, your head feels as if it were sat inside of a vice and forcibly hit with a hammer multiple times. Your hair is tousled, and you feel a small splash of morning sunlight upon your face, and those scars upon your cheek itch and very slightly burn. The whiskey that you imbued last night with Filthy Meg has clearly brought you to the point of passing out. Off in the distance, you see a splash of water as you see Meg, who has already started a cook fire for you and her, and above a spit is what looks like a series of dangling sausages that are cooking over the fire. There is a iron pot underneath there, and you apparently have been lying in a small pile of trash. What would you like to do?
He looks around the small pile of trash and he says, "Oh yeah, that seems about right." And he gets up and he goes over to Filthy Meg. He's like, this is quite a setup.
It ain't much, but we do what we can, yeah? You're looking
Thanks.
chipper as always.
Oh, well, you know, it's good to try not to be too preoccupied with anything. It lets you be in the moment.
I've got to say, it's been a little while since we've had company in these areas that decided to do more than just ring us for information and disappear. Very thankful for the presence.
For my presence?
We take what we can get. There's food there if you want some.
Just for free?
Oh, Squid, come on. You know who you're dealing with. Nothing's for free. We're going to need you to run a few errands. Nothing spectacular, but since you can't exactly go gallivanting around the city now that you've retrieved the ring, it might be best for you to be kept busy and down here as much as possible, eh?
Ah, okay. And much more comfortable now that it's not free food. He just takes the sausage and starts to eat it. Yeah, that sounds right.
So yeah, you grab a sausage and you begin eating. It's actually very good. However, while you're eating, Meg is there in the water and is kind of moving about. You watch as she swims across this dock and is handing out coin and small scrolls to individuals that are walking along. And there's a good number of individuals that come down from the dock above. And it's curious to you because these individuals don't seem like they belong here. There are some individuals that show up that seem rather noble and have very clean garb upon themselves. You hear the clattering of horses and carriages above, and it seems as if whatever Meg is working at, she has a number of operatives that stretch all across Waterdeep, not just here in the Dock Ward. Since she very clearly has you in a position of employment, you don't seem to be shielded against much of these operations. You feel that she's relaxed a little bit and is a little less guarded around you. There is a series of splashes off on the horizon, and you see other merfolk start to pull themselves from the water. But he
starts to sweat.
Yeah. Well, you should, because these merfolk don't look anything like Filthy Meg. They are armored, and they are all carrying these well-made tridents. They look very official. Perhaps 5 of them. They seem to encompass all genders. There is a myriad of colors that they represent. There are merfolk with tails that kind of stretch the gamut of the cooler colors of the color scheme. There are blues and purples and greens. Through the armor, you can see that their skin tones are just as varied. Sure enough, Meg seems to notice this and makes her way over to the group. Though you cannot hear, you can certainly see that there is some sort of argument that's happening. Go ahead and tell me what you would like to do, Calder. If you would like to try to listen in, I could have you make a roll.
Yeah, he'll try to listen in, but I imagine he's a bit stunned. You know, sailors seeing a whole bunch of armored mermaids. It's not going to be his favorite thing to learn about. This isn't his favorite new thing.
Right. So a lot of this is going to be determined by what you can read from their facial expressions. So I'd like for you to make an insight check, please, for me.
Oh, joy. That's an 8.
Okay, well, an 8 is not great.
Not a very astute man.
Yeah, so your head is still ringing. You really can't hear much either. You do hear a few words. Guarding the Dark Ward. But they turn and then they all leap into the sea. Their tails fly up in unison and they disappear. And Meg swims back over to you.
really glad I've managed not to piss you off.
Yeah, well, I wish everyone could say that. Comes with the territory, though. Especially when your business is other people's business.
Oh, it looks like you've got some pretty interesting friends, too. I think I saw a couple neck frills on those customers.
If you think that fancy frocks and pretty carriages make people less desperate for what I have to offer, you're quite wrong. Gold is one thing. Information, that's the real trade of Waterdeep. Look, Swig, if you choose to stab me in the back, do not think that because I don't have human legs, I will not find you and slit your throat. We are of an accord, yeah?
Crystal clear. Very, very much understood. Yes, ma'am. He just takes another bite of sausage, nervous.
I like you. I don't want to mar your pretty face any further than it already is.
I appreciate that. I've only got one good side left.
Better than most around here. You're doing all right. And we're going to move forward just a little bit into another place. Another fire. One that's crackling in the ruined building elsewhere in the dock ward. June, what's your armor class?
None of your business.
Wow.
It's 14. It's 14.
As the fist swings towards you, you step aside. The individual who has thrown a punch at you is a very rough-looking man who has a network of scars across his face and a shaved head with a single braid across the back of it. His name is Mert Handlebrake, and Mert looks to you and smiles, and you can see a network of gold and silver teeth next to whatever remaining teeth he has within his skull. All right. You can dodge a punch. Can you dodge this? A kick is thrown at you as Mert spins and prepares to try to catch you in the ribs. Breaking past your AC, June, it does connect. So you take 6 points of non-lethal damage, and you are thrown to the ground. As you kind of cough, immediately the air is sucked out of your body, and you hit the ground hard. You hear laughter from Mert. You hear some sort of murmuring and titters from the fire, where other individuals are watching this exchange. What would you like to do, Jim?
Let's see if this works this time. Thorn whip at the guy's feet. Not at him, but just like at his feet. So let me...
Now, are you trying to ensnare him, or are you trying to strike him?
I was trying to ensnare him, but if I would have striked, he would have had... It was a crit, so...
Oh no, you get that crit, my friend. That is a natural 20.
Yeah.
You add all this together to do, I believe you do 17 points total. You wrap your whip around his ankles, do a massive amount of damage, as you can see, just like it is perfectly placed as you pull him off his feet. And he lands to the ground with a thud, is now prone, and you still have his ankles entwined in your whip. The laughing stops, June.
What exactly are you doing?
What the? And is like grabbing at the thorns, and you can see that he cuts himself on your whip as he's trying to pull his ankles off.
Dude, stop. You're hurting yourself. Stop.
As he's on the ground and prone, he's going to try to try to grab you and pull you down. So I need you to make either an athletics or an acrobatics of your choice.
Ah!
He does grab you and pull you down to the ground. What I'm trying to do is find out if you're any good at fighting. And you see a fist kind of like come at you again. As he hooks on the ground, prone. He does have a disadvantage on this as well. And yeah, he doesn't hit you. His fist kind of hits the wood next to you, and it actually breaks through the wood, the soggy wood, and it goes up to his elbow. And he kind of like snarls at you.
Can I punch him then?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
What you realize in this moment, June, is that no one else is attacking you. Everyone is slowly forming a circle around you and Mert.
Yeah.
As the two of you are fighting this out in the middle of this soggy, decayed, skeletal building.
They're analyzing me, I can tell.
You swing at him and you try to connect with his jaw, but he catches your fist in his hand and has it held in front of him, just about an inch away from his face, and then he kind of pushes your hand away and smiles real broadly at you with his metallic grin as he kind of pulls himself up. The two of you now are standing. Your whip has released itself, and you both are kind of like circling each other in this place. And you can see that other individuals from the fire have come around you now. There are probably 13 of these mercenaries watching.
Yeah.
All right, are you pretty enough? And you can fight enough, but the question is, are you smart enough to see this coming? And he kicks at you again, having tried to throw you off balance. And he misses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to kick him back, jerk.
Yeah, no, he swings at you. His foot, it comes inches from your face, and you just take 2 steps back.
As he's like misses me, can I try to catch that foot?
Yeah, you can try to. If you'd like to make that your action, you can easily use your acrobatic skill.
Okay, come on. 16.
You catch his foot.
Pah!
Tell me what you want to do. Yeah, you have his foot.
I want to freaking do that cool thing they do in the movies where they like take your foot and they like flip it up and then you fall back on your back.
Okay, so you're tossing him back down to the ground.
Yeah.
To do that, I need you to make an acro or an athletics check against his athletics check.
Oh,
so it's a contested roll.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah, you got 22 on that roll. And yeah, so he flips and hits the ground hard. And there's like this cracking noise for a moment.
Imagine she like did it with that cool thing where like her hands behind her back, she just flips you.
Yeah, so he looks completely surprised, right? And like he coughs out a little blood as this kind of like he hits the ground. And then he starts to pry himself up off the ground, and you can see that he has every intent of continuing this fight. But then there's a cracking noise, and you realize that you've thrown him on that same section of wood that his arm went through, and he breaks through the floor.
Can I cast it's gonna hurt him, but I want to try to catch him with Thorn Whip. 18.
You hit. And so you wrap the Thorn Whip around his torso, and he's hanging there. And then he looks up at you, and he nods. And he kind of like reaches up a hand as you're holding on to him. And like, I'm not gonna lie, this guy's heavy. You've got both hands on the end of your whip, and you're holding him. And you can see below in the darkness on the first floor of this building, there's nothing but jagged bits of stone and wood. If he were to fall 20 feet onto that, it might kill him. No. Immediately you feel other people behind you grabbing onto your thorn whip, pulling it up.
Oh my god, are you... Stop this nonsense. You almost died.
No. It ain't nonsense, all right? You did good. I've Mert Handlebreak. 3rd ring. Second structure. Mercenary for the Zentarum. Vouch for... Love, I didn't get your name.
Juniper Creed.
Juniper Creed. Anyone harms a hair on Juniper Creed's head, they answer to me. Wiping blood off his face and spitting, as he's very crass. You don't strike me as a fighter, but I've been wrong before.
Thank you.
Where'd you learn to do that?
I trained a lot with my people. I was trained to be a protector. But where I'm from isn't really that important right now.
A lot of us have a similar story, We don't care where we came from, we just know what we do.
I mean, I care where I came from. It's more of just, there's not much to go back to, so.
If you're here and you need help, you don't have nowhere to go, you can do worse. The coin's good. No one bothers you much, and no one tells you what to do. Take a few things here and there. You want to slit a few throats because someone made you angry. You won't get any of that nonsense that the Code Legal tries to shackle you down with within this city. You can be what you are.
I don't want to break our new bonding, but I don't think really cracking necks and slitting them is my game. I'm kind of a holy woman.
Come again? Elerie, where do you go? You're wandering the rainy streets, and the blood has been washed from you. I don't know where you're going in the streets. Does Elerie know where they're going?
She's really flying by her pants right now, so I think the next step for her is to try and make it right with the grasping eye.
Do you return to the warehouse that you've worked at in the past, where you have some contact or some way to trace the grasping eye? Or do you make your way into those dangerous areas, those taverns that are known to hold this very secretive gang?
I think Illyri's going to want to go to the source of this and go to the taverns and seek these people out. See if we can talk our way out of this one.
You have been here long enough to know that there are certain areas that are controlled by the different gangs within the city of Waterdeep. You know that there are underworld elements everywhere. It just depends on how they sheathe themselves. Some are very noble and clean and run themselves within the finest establishments that coin can buy. Others are dark and mysterious entities that operate in the dirtiest, most downtrodden sections of town. You stumble into a ramshackle shed. You think you're in the right place, although the tavern sign outside is the only thing that really denotes this as anything other than a fishing shed. Outside of it are buckets and buckets of fish heads that are rotting with clouds of flies that obscure the windows and the doorway as they buzz in these horrid clouds in front of this establishment. And that tavern sign swings, and one of the chains has broken, and it's barely tethered to the pole that juts out from above the doorway. Painted upon it is a fish that has been cut in half. When you walk into this shed, it looks little more than a fisherman's hole. There are just a couple of sparse tables with very low burning candles. There's only a handful of souls here, and there is no music, only the quiet, sullen drinking of some very sad people. And there is a table across one side that has been raised up on a number of barrels to make a makeshift bar. Behind the bar, you see an individual who is whispering to one of the customers. The individual behind the bar has a strange frog-like appearance, and they're humanoid, but they also have this strange shape about them with these large blinking eyes and this large gullet that kind of waddles beneath them. The customer seems to be a ragged old woman who has long gray hair, and one of her eyes has been replaced with what looks like a bright green marble. As they look to you, they blink as if they are uncertain if you are meant to be here. How may I help you?
Elerie just leans in and says something stiff and goes to sit down.
Are you in the right place? You don't look like our normal clientele.
You gonna let me buy a drink or what?
The strange barkeep turns and pours you a glass of clear alcohol. Just kind of slams it down in front of you. 5 copper.
Elerie just reaches in her pocket and pays up, takes the drink, and throws it back as hard as possible.
You throw it back. Okay, so I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so you got a 7. So with a 7, you don't pass out or cough or immediately vomit. However, what you do is you immediately feel the room begin to spin. And you are very inebriated off of this single drink. And Elerie is someone who knows how to drink. So you begin to wonder what exactly they've given you.
Illyria's gonna wink. Now that's the stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, if she's been taken back that much, I feel like perhaps she's gonna sit down a bit, and if she's lost her wits and what she's doing here, clearly maybe if her mandolin's on her back, maybe she reaches for that as well.
Okay, you reach for your mandolin.
Yeah, no one's playing. Clearly that's what she's here now for.
Well, if we have a bard, it's customary for me to pay. Slaps another cup of the clear liquid in front of you. On the house.
Thank you. I'm going...
The old woman spits at you.
Drink it.
All right, I'll drink it. This is gonna be a good night. But I can't guarantee that this is gonna sound good if you send me another one of those.
We'll be all right. You hear footsteps. And then someone sits at the bar next to you. They have a hood over their head, and they reach up and they pull it back, and they look at you directly in the eyes. You see pale skin, like porcelain, with a translucent quality and a network of purple veins that work themselves across their face. Deep black eyes and long pointed ears. Their white hair has been braided back and pulled away from their face. What have we caught here?
Nothing but a wave. Got any song requests?
Unsmiling, the figure looks at your mandolin with distaste.
You know, those drinks,
Did exactly what they were intended to do.
Yeah, I know, but do we have to go through this, every time? Maybe a little lighter drink or something? Excuse me. I think I took care of something in the alleyway for you earlier.
I'm listening.
Tittlebomb, yeah. I took care of that.
The gnome. Your ally.
I don't think he's my ally if he's ratting me out to the Inquisitor.
Barrick, bring me the package behind the bar. Oh, yes, of course, Master Jugir. Frog-like bartender reaches under and grabs a bundle of wrapped leather and pushes it forward. The gnome, it was our understanding, was an associate of yours. He had interesting things to say.
Like what?
That you had been talking to the officials of the city. They unroll the leather bundle, and you see what look like surgical tools.
Now, before we go taking those out and threatening each other, we know each other's business, you've been following me around or something, but come on. Just hear me out, all right? This ally associate ratted me out to the Inquisitor. I took care of him for you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Seaborn, but from our information, you don't do anything for anyone other than yourself.
And you all are in my best interest, so I better do my job with you right.
Coming here was either excessively reckless, or you're telling the truth. There's no real way to know if I can trust you, so I'll have to settle for intimidation. The drow works their hand almost seductively across the tools that are rolled out before them and pull a very sharp-looking dagger out, and it is almost a diamond at the tip, where it has been a tapering blade that works its way down to a metal handle that has been forged into it, and begins working the blade in their hands and looking upon it, looking at you in the eyes very intensely. Pulls the blade back and throws it across the bar, striking the innkeeper in the throat. They are pinned to the wall, fighting to try to pull the blade out. This entire time, the drow doesn't break their gaze with yours.
I didn't tell them anything about your business.
Let us talk business then. In another tavern, in another part of Waterdeep, Maglo, you have been barely sleeping, but you do manage to find some rest. The desk next to your bed is covered in scrolls and books. Inkwells are opened, and a small fire burns in the small fireplace across the room. You have put a chair up against the door to prevent anyone from entering into your private chamber. Additionally, your brass automaton, Busby, is sat upon the desk, casting a pinpoint of light across the entire room, searching for anything that might be amiss, guarding you while you sleep. You open your eyes and find your glasses next to your bedstand. What do you do?
Maglo's going to look to Busby and give a signal like, found anything? We can keep on looking. That's all right. Go on. You have a rest. I'll take over. And Maglo's gonna try and look for any form of hollowness in the walls or any breaks, any way that people could be looking in.
I'd like for you to make an investigation roll, please. Yes, 25. Is that all? You have anything? You burn an inspiration?
Genius, make
yeah,
it 29.
Yeah, you do realize that the walls are fairly and very suspiciously hollow.
Either these people are telling the truth. They want the book because we know everything that a human could know, or they're sending us down this hole to jump us, have us die, take the book, and then use all our information. But these people don't seem like holy folk. They don't seem like they'd have a grudge against us. Oh, you know, what's your thoughts? Maybe. I assume you know about the whole the fact that the wall is hollow. That there's ways that they can look in. I don't trust it. I mean, what are the chances that we stumble into a fucking alley and then immediately get picked up for everything that we've been searching for? Or they just found us? What? How does that make any fucking sense? Is the goblin a plant? Are they also trying to get us here? I don't want to eat here. I don't truly feel comfortable sleeping either. No, I know. No, listen. I know I'm being silly. Alright, fine. We'll play along. Anyone who has any form of intelligence has fucking hollow walls. They don't just let anyone just sleep in the rooms without being able to check them. I get that. It's basic fucking Waterdeep in structure. It just seems too much. I'm saying we check at least one other room just to see if they have a hollow wall. And if they do, then hey, it's just normal and it's fine. Fiddle dick. We'll play along with him and maybe he's real and a good boy. Or maybe he's trying to kill us. We don't know. I don't know.
In another room, Hawke, you awaken. You're covered in sweat, and you are panting. Next to you is the sword. You had placed it in the corner when you had gone to bed, and now you find yourself grasping it, holding it close to your chest as you awaken.
Who's that fucking fiddle scratch think he is? Give me purpose. I have a purpose. I'm not gonna be a goddamn messenger boy. Hawke shakes his head and he looks at the sword. And that's when he knows what he has to do. So he moves to commune with his patron and get guidance from her. He takes some of the candles there in the room and he arranges them. He takes the blade. At the hilt, there's a fine chain that's wrapped around the grip.
All right.
And he starts unfurling it bit after bit. And as he does, it doesn't really go away, but he wraps it in his hand and he takes out a dagger and he cuts the palm of his hand and squeezes the blood into the chain and closes his eyes and opens himself.
The sounds of the tavern begin to dull around you, and the fire that was in the fireplace when you went to bed has completely turned cold into ash. And your breath kind of plumes in front of you as you do this, and all of the sounds of Waterdeep begin receding away. And everything becomes, for a moment, very, very dark, and you hear that place again where she first came to you, and it pushes its way back into your mind. And your devotion is received, and in a moment later it is gone. Your stomach growls.
I latch the sword to my back. I get up and I'm gonna head downstairs and eat.
Doddle, when you wake, you are well rested, and the bed that you are sleeping upon is very comfortable. For you, sleep is still a foreign concept, and the idea of dreams is something that reminds you very much of the trance that you've always known. However, that sense of loss and confusion when you wake can be scary from time to time, as you often have a sense that you're forgetting something very important when you open your eyes for the first time in the morning. Your window is cracked open, and there is a morning breeze, and you can hear the city out beyond you and the courtyard of the Golden Owl. You hear horses in the distance in the stables, and you hear shouts of merchants further down the street. Your goblin ears are very adept at picking up sounds. Harold has built a nest on a pillow next to you and has ripped up a number of items within the room to try to enhance it and to build a suitable place for the golden brown hen to rest. She has shredded a number of things, some wood and a extra blanket and one of the pillows. She's gathered all the feathers from that and built herself a nest that she is currently sleeping in. She raises her head up and looks at you for a moment, clucks, and then lays it back down.
Harold! And then Doddle's gonna start pacing back and forth across the room. We are on a mission. We are supposed to get back to Evermeet, and in order to do that, we have to complete this quest given to us by Mr. Fiddlescratch. And in order to do that, we're going to have to work as a team with our newfound friends. Things have been less than successful so far. They've been a little awkward, but I've been taught that the way to take strangers to friends is to sit them down for a good meal. So, we're gonna have to figure that out first. And then she's gonna roll up her sleeves, and she's gonna march downstairs and find an innkeeper. Scarf over my face.
Okay, you cover your face with a scarf. Next, we come upon a room with a bed that has not been slept in. Seated on the floor, cross-legged, is Siraye. You are meditating, and you are exiting the trance as the morning light begins to shine through the window of your room at the Golden Owl. As your eyes open, you are somewhat saddened by the memory that you have called yourself to this place from. It was a happier time, not that you have many of those.
Okay, Siraye gets up, is very stoic and direct in her movements, inspects the room to make sure no one has been in and out, that it's like been secured, and then she'll leave the room and head into the lobby to wait for Fiddle Scratch and the rest of the mission briefing.
Okay. You gather yourself and your things and leave the room exactly as you found it, untouched. Maglo, you swing your door open and pull the chair out of the way, and you see the small form of Doddle walking down the hallway towards the stairs.
Oh,
Good morning.
morning. Wait, quick. Can I check your room for a second?
Sure, why not?
Grant, thank you. And then Maglo's gonna walk into Doddle's room and then knock on all of the walls.
Doddle, you continue downstairs, correct?
Yep, I just say, what a peculiar man. And I keep on walking.
As you rush into Doddle's room, the golden brown hen known as Harold raises its head and kind of
I'm gonna be 5 minutes, bud. Like real short amount of time.
kind of like marches around the bed protectively. As long as you don't touch the bed, it doesn't seem like the chicken is going to attack. So you start tapping on walls
and knocking on all the
walls, the chicken is highly annoyed, but you manage to start tapping on the walls. You get very much the same sense that the walls are hollow here, and as you work your way around, you come to the window that's open, and seated on the window is a pile of what look like berries that have been stacked on the windowsill, and there is a smear of blood.
Well, where's the blood going? Is it going outside of the window?
It goes outside.
Maglo tries to push the window as far out as it can go and then look over to see if he can track where it goes.
It goes out into the main courtyard, but then you lose sight of it. You can make an investigation check if you want.
21.
Mm-hmm. As far as you can tell, the blood is from a humanoid handprint. Only it's a furred hand. It doesn't. There's definitely some hair. There are claw marks, as if someone was climbing up the wall.
Right. Okay. Oh, I'm done.
And you catch Siraye in the hallway.
Hi. Can I check your room?
Why?
The walls in mine are hollow. They're hollow in Doddle's as well. Like you can spy through them. But in
Of course they are.
I know. I'm just checking.
Of course they're hollow. The guy probably spied on us. If you go into my room, I'll fucking kill you.
All right, fine.
Aggressive.
You had a
Well, off to a great start.
Don't worry, I got it. I'm gonna make us some waffles. Everything will be fine.
Become a New Yorker.
The waffles will save us.
I'm gonna make us some waffles.
In the morning, we're making waffles.
And then Maglo's gonna walk downstairs.
As
No, he's not. He's gonna go into his room.
you walk back into your room, Maglo. Everybody else has gone downstairs, and as you turn around to step back out, you realize that your door is open, and you turn to see that there is a young boy with a broom staring at you and the state of your room.
Get the fuck out. I didn't give you permission to go into my room. Get the fuck out.
Sir, it's
Didn't ask you to call me sir, did I? I told you to get the fuck out. This is my room, and all of this shit is mine. I don't want your fucking tiny little eyes looking at it. It's mine, all right?
Of course. The kid turns and walks out and starts sweeping the hallway. He does it so very slowly.
Oh my god, speed up, get out, get the fuck out of my room.
You're a miserable old man.
And you're a tiny little dumb piece of shit that won't leave my fucking room. Now get the fuck out.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand how it's gonna be. I'll be over here.
I need you to stop confirming that you're listening to me and
I
just
hear you.
leave.
I do hear you. Yeah, yes, sir. I do hear you.
What's your name?
Christoph.
All right, Chris.
It's Christoph.
I'll call your fucking name when you start fucking listening to me. All right?
Have you always been like this, sir?
Right. Maglo is just going to grab him and try to pull him out the room.
Yeah, no, he was like at the threshold, so you kind of just like pull him by the collar and push him back down. And so the kid kind of like brushes his shoulder off. All right then, sir. Have a wonderful.
Just
And
slams his door in his face.
Oh, just slam it right in his face. It's done. All right. Well, that happened. Meanwhile, downstairs, Doddle, you're the first one to come down, and you have your scarf over your face, and there's a bright fire burning in the main common hearth, and there are people seated around it, warming themselves from the rainy day outside, and there are bowls of porridges and mulled wine and other things being passed around. Cups of tea have been brewed as well. And there's just a number of pleasant aromas that are kind of rising up out of the kitchen.
I'd like to find the closest person that appears to be a keeper of the inn.
So you immediately kind of move yourself over to the bar itself, and you do see Tamara there, kind of refilling bottles and sorting things out and polishing silverware. Above the bar, you see the sword that is hanging there, and you see on the wall a number of shields that match the statue that was outside. And she looks at you with kind eyes as you approach the bar. Hello, dear.
Were you a sharp tongue?
At that question, she looks a little taken aback and maybe a little sad, but she immediately smiles a little more broadly. I was a long time ago. I was a sharp tongue, yes. Where did you hear about the sharp tongues, if I might ask?
From my studious-looking acquaintance. He told me about them as we were driving in. We saw a statue.
That's interesting. Most folk around here don't know about them, but... Well, thank you. You said your name was...
Doddle, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and I hold out my hand.
Doddle, I am Tamara Woolchrist.
Madam, I was just here to inquire if there is an entry-level, short-term position in your kitchen.
You're looking for work?
Mm-hmm.
Did you and Fiddle Scratch have a conversation yesterday?
Yes, we did.
And was it decided that you would be undertaking a certain quest?
Yes, when I said short-term, I mean incredibly short, as in, like, the next 20 minutes.
I'd be happy to have you in the kitchen if you wish to help. However, I must ask that you not get under anyone's feet, as we do have a great deal of work to do before the crowds come.
I promise to work very hard for you, Mrs. Sharp-Tongue, and I will hopefully stay out of the way. And work hard at the same time. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that.
She just smiles. The kitchen's back this way. And she opens a door and she speaks with a couple of the cooks that are milling about, and they give you kind of free reign to do whatever you want. They're treating you with respect, but it's very clear that they're letting you play. So you begin doing what in the kitchen?
I'm looking for anything that I can do that's helpful, because really I just want to watch other people cook and see what seasoning they use with what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I've ever used salt and pepper before.
Right. So you're moving about and...
I've never been in a kitchen. Can I clean dishes? That seems helpful. That seems like something I could do.
They certainly do put you to work cleaning dishes. There are always those. It's not the same nightmare that Calder underwent. This is a very clean and well-meaning establishment.
I'm still keeping an eye on the chefs, though, because I just want to watch what they're doing.
Yeah, no, and they're talking to you a little bit, and we'll get more into that as your kitchen adventure continues. But in the meanwhile, Hawke and Siraye, you both have walked downstairs, and you see the tavern light out before you. What would you like to do?
Hawke's gonna grab a improperly sized plate of food and cup of tea and just kind of camp out at one of the tables. In between alternating bites, he's going to take like bits they think will keep and put them in his pouch for later.
What about you, Siraye? What are you doing?
I'm going to just look around and make sure there's nothing afoot. And then I'm going to sit where I sat the night before, the exact same seat that I sat at.
Okay, so are you going to the back room, or are you staying in the common?
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I thought we were in the back room. Yeah, I'm gonna go in the back room and do that.
Yeah, I think I'll go to the back room as well.
You gather your food and you do that, okay?
Yeah.
And then Maglo, you're just a little behind everybody else, but you finally make your way downstairs. There's a bustle within the tavern. It seems as if business is starting to pick up, and you're slowly approaching mid-morning. It's still fairly early. Glowering at you from upstairs is the boy that has named himself Kristoff to you.
It's been about 10-15 minutes since Maglo kicked the kid out, because he's been pacing around his room just talking to Busby. He thinks that something's up, then didn't, and then the kid's in his room, and now he's like just trying to calm himself down that it's all going to be fine. So he basically is walking downstairs with all of his shit in his hands, like not packed away or anything, just like in his hands.
So you just have like a mess of books and scrolls and paperwork that are just bursting out of your arms as you come downstairs.
And as he shut the door, he does he have a key for the room?
Yeah, you can lock your own room.
Yeah, he's locked the room. I think Maglo's just staring daggers at the kid.
Okay, so the two of you are locked in this intense glare as you walk past him downstairs. As you enter, the woman behind the bar with the graying hair that's been neatly braided back looks to you. If you're looking for your companions, they're back there.
Thank you.
Young man, just a moment. What do you know about the Sharp Tongues?
I know a bit, enough. Why?
I was curious. You're your young friend, she was talking to me this morning and just mentioned that you knew a little about the Shining Ring.
I know a little about a lot of things. I just know they're a group, very strong. They have a lot of resources. I don't know what the statue's doing outside. I don't know who's on the statue, but I assume they're someone who lived here.
I wish that were true. We don't have a lot of resources. We do have all of the books and tomes that we've gathered over the years, adventuring through all of Faerun, but my sister and I would always... I was just glad to hear that those outside of Waterdeep still hear stories about them. About us.
Sorry, and he puts all the things on the bar. I'm sorry about your sister.
It's part of it. You can't be who you want to be and be true to yourself without risking everything. And sometimes when you risk everything, you lose.
I've been there, and I know. But my story hasn't even begun. Your sister will be remembered through the stories that we tell and the things in books, and when that happens, do they ever really die?
No. And I'm just glad to see that you align with the way that we think. You don't seem very comfortable here.
I don't want my story to have a different author.
As I said, you can't be true to yourself if you're not willing to take a risk. My sister was an excellent warrior, but my brother Tam was a scholar. That library, it's a shrine to him. He died in Undermount. You remind me of him. And I don't say this lightly. You don't know everything.
I know more than most.
That's where the danger lies. Back room. Sorry to keep you.
Maglo packs up his things and Maglo walks off into the back room.
Hawke, you and Siraye, you're eating, and as you enter into the room, there is a figure in the library that seems so far out of place that you could hardly imagine them being here at all. A coarse-looking dwarven woman with ruddy skin and an enormous tankard of ale has her boots off and her dirty feet kicked up in front of the fire. She is in heavy armor and covered in dirt and filth. And you can smell her when you immediately enter, but it's the smell of damp earth and campfire. While she's certainly unwashed, she seems more like a piece of nature. The figure is drinking heavily of this large tankard that looks like it's hooked with a chain to their belt. And they have a very simple looking knife that they're whittling some wood with. You can see seated next to the fire is this enormous broadsword. It is just massive. It looks almost as wide as an axe. And the two of you enter, and the figure doesn't even look up, but is seated right next to the table that you met Phineas Fiddlescratch at.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna stay seated at the table, and I'm just gonna be aware. I have a feeling that they're not dangerous, but just in case, always
Right.
be careful.
What about you, Hawke? Do you also sit at the table?
Yeah, I keep like a respectable couple like seats away from everybody, and kind of just look around nervously.
Oi there, boy. Are you courting a sweetheart? You seem nervous.
I'm good. I'm just having this delicious breakfast. You should try this. I think it's.
I've had the stew plenty of times. Yes, it's very good.
Are you an associate of Mr. Fiddlescratch?
Indeed, I am. Yeah.
He seems to know a lot about a lot of different people.
Mr. Fiddlescratch knows a great many things.
How does a man like him get so much information?
That's the mystery, ain't it? A man of information, he be. Myself? Nah, I have no business for it. In fact, I was called here by him. I believe you're looking for Bretta Brightgleam.
Is that you?
Indeed it is. And what about you, lass? Do you have a name? Or are you going to continue to poke me with those dagger eyes of yours?
I'm Siraye. I presume you're the one we are supposed to be working with today?
Oh, I think it's going to take more than a day, but yeah.
And what can we expect?
From the looks of you, you know how to fight. Your friend here seems a little shy, but also seems like he can swing a sword. A little bit of larceny, I believe, is what we're here for. Maglo, you enter at this point. Oh, you must be the one known as Maglo.
Right, sure. It's nice to meet you. And Maglo's going to walk over to the table, put his bag down, sit down. And there's food at the table? Is that right?
Yeah, there's some food there. Spread out, some bread and some stew.
Grabs like a small bowl of stew and some bread.
She's kicked her feet up off, her bare feet up off the mantle now and is moving around, shaking each of your hands. Do each of you take her grasp? Because she grabs you like at the arm and just shakes you very viscerally.
Hawke nervously takes it, and then once she's done, just kind of like recoils a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maglo's pied with dwarfs before.
Yeah, she shakes you completely. Like you feel your bones rattle a little bit from the grasp. And it's firm. It's not cruel or like she's not trying to flex, but you can feel a massive amount of strength. A pleasure.
Absolutely.
Anybody told you look like anyone recently?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
God.
Yeah, where's your
fourth? Meanwhile, in the kitchen...
we forgot Kevin!
Doddle, you're working away in the kitchen, and there are a number of people here. However, the individual that seems to take the most interest in what you're doing is the large turtle, who is slowly moving around the bar.
You're doing a fine job with those dishes, my friend.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't imagine Doddle is actually doing very well with the dishes. Like, she's working very hard and very vigorously, but there are pots that she should probably let soak that she is not. She's just trying to go at it. She's working very hard, but not very smart.
Yeah, you're working hard. You're not really accomplishing much, and you can make an insight check if you want to know if he's being genuine, but it seems genuine.
No, she'd just be like, oh, you're very sweet.
I understand that you want to know more about how we prepare our fare here at the Golden Owl.
Yes, I would very much, please, sir. I don't think I have very long before me and my companions are heading out, and cooking is far more complex than I first anticipated.
Well, like all things, knowledge often starts from a book.
And he very slowly pulls this ragged-looking cookbook off the shelf. And it's worn, and it has like splatters all over it, and there are ribbons and pages that have been ripped out and marked.
I taught Mara how to cook from this book. I think it's time it made its way to a new student.
And he hands it down to you, blinking slowly.
Me?
Of course, you.
She starts tearing up a little bit. Oh, thank you so much. It's perfect. It's beautiful. I'm just gonna flip through it, and then she's going to say, "Wait, are my companions in the back room right now? I didn't realize the time."
Your companions are in the back room, indeed.
Oh no! And she's gonna look at the pile of dishes that she has yet to complete and just, well, now I can't.
Run along now. Come back when you are able to help.
Oh wait, no, I can't just leave a task.
And Doddle is just so panicked that she starts speaking in Elvish.
God, these dishes are never gonna get clean.
And then she's gonna like flick her hands out. And can I cast Prestidigitation on one of the dishes, please?
Okay, so
That's just a cantrip, so I don't have to roll or anything,
No, you don't. So you're going to prestidigitation the dishes clean. Is that right?
I do really quickly have to say, Mo did just say the words prestidigitation, which is very good.
Which is now the official. You don't have prestidigitation. You have prestidigitation, which is only good for cleaning dishes.
God, these dishes are never gonna get clean. How did I... What? Do you have a pencil or something?
There's a quill over there.
Thank you. And then she's gonna run and grab the quill and looking for a piece of paper, but I don't think there's any in sight, and she doesn't want to insult the present that was just gifted to her and is very valuable to her from her new tortoise friend. She's gonna grab the quill and start walking towards the back room and like jotting down her hand movement and what exactly she said just in the margins of the cookbook as she goes to the back.
Well, as Doddle's doing this and leaving, you hear...
Infalo osho utulamora.
And in Elvish, he says to you, "Be well, little friend."
She just pauses and turns back and says, "Thank you, and you as well," in Elvish, but
Momo's not as eloquent as Nox. I'm not gonna try it. Maybe I'll do it in post. And I'm gonna keep walking to the library, please.
In the back room, Bretta has joined you at the table. Still no boots on. They're still warming by the fire. And she's like wiggling her toes underneath the table. And like there's a smear of this like soot and dirt that kind of trails off behind her. And she has poured all of you a round of drinks. Here's to those who don't judge a book by its cover, and to those that we need to teach how to read.
To the ones that we need to teach how to read.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
Oh, what have we here? This must be your fourth.
I apologize for making you wait for me.
No need to apologize. Just please, have a seat.
Goes and has a seat. Clutching her new cookbook.
Mr. Fiddle Scratch. A pleasure to see you again. Stepping behind the door, away, like just inches from where Doddle was a moment before, is the halfling in the patchwork cloak, looking at all of you with a very broad smile. June. You are seated around the fire. You have a bottle of strange wine thrust into your hand, and there is a plate of cooked dog in front of you. You are surrounded by cutthroat killers and thieves. What do you do?
My twins aren't back yet?
They have not returned. You've been sitting now for a few hours.
June was really, really enthralled by, is that the right word? What does that word mean? She was really, really interested in the big, tall woman. So she's gonna like, where is she sitting? Is she like next to me? Because if I can just like,
yeah, you could be sitting next to her.
Okay.
And so the large, well-muscled woman, the barbarian, it just eats heavily of like what looks like a rack of ribs and is pulling them apart, breaking the bone and sucking the marrow out. There's juice dripping down her face and onto her chest and her hands as she has no qualms about how much she's enjoying the meal and how little she feels like the niceties of society need to be abided to here in this fire.
oh man, I was certainly going to try to make a friend, but that terrifies me.
Is there something on my face?
No, you're just a very, it seems, very strong woman, and I value that.
Good. I am glad you find it valuable. I am the strongest woman you will ever meet.
Oh, really? Tell me about that. So, like, you fight often then, obviously, right?
My name is Uthra Sol, and I have slain Drake with these hands, no weapons upon them. I have proven myself time and time again, and now am a high-ranking member of the Zentarum.
Well, then you would probably know a little bit about those siblings that brought me here, and maybe their friend that got hurt.
The barbarian gets a little quiet and kind of looks around, and the hooded figure that was watching you before pulls back their hood, and you can see that they're at least half elven in blood, if not full elf of some sort. They have very pale, almost golden skin, and their eyes are a deep, bright purple. I'd be careful. You're asking a lot of questions. If you're with us, you'll accept a contract. And once given that contract, you'll earn coin and do what the ranking officer tells you to.
Ooh, June's stomach starts to growl, but she definitely is not going to eat the dog. So she just kind of chills and tries to keep her head low while they're all chewing away.
Just make sure that it gets carefully put back where you got it from. You wouldn't want to sour your new friends after you've made such a nice impression.
No, I wouldn't. They wouldn't be offended, though, if I don't eat it. You sure?
No, yeah, it won't offend them. I'm sure half of them are already looking at your cut wishing they had it.
Can I do an inside check on that?
Yeah, you can make an insight check. To see
Okay, I'm like, he might be setting me up. But...
Yeah, trying to set you up for failure. No, it
16.
seems like he's telling you the truth.
Okay. Thank you. If any of you would like to partake in this, I accept it.
Before you even finish, Uthra has shot her hand across the fire and snatched it off of your plate and just starts immediately gnawing on it.
Thank you, Uthra. God, oh my God. Excuse me.
Yeah, I appreciate. Thank you.
I don't suppose any of you are religious, eh? Are you?
Well, I don't know what you call religious, but yeah, there's quite a few amongst this group that follow the god Merkel.
Merkel?
Death.
Ah. Good for them, you know? Everyone has their own path. You know what I mean? Gonna just chill here and
like you can see that the hooded figure is now playing with a dagger. What do you know about the Lord of Bones?
Nothing. Actually, if did you want to share? I'd be interested in hearing.
No, not particularly. I don't fancy myself a cleric or a zealot. Just curious. What about you? You don't exactly look like a pit fighter.
No, I'm not, but I am a protector of some sort. I mean, that's just what I do. I protect.
I may not be full elf, but I'm all ears.
I don't know. I don't consider myself good. I don't consider myself bad. If someone gives me a certain energy, I give it back to them. I protect my people, and that's it.
Who are your people?
June kind of shifts uncomfortably. They are holy folk. But a lot of them aren't really here much anymore.
You don't follow Lathander, do you?
No. No, I follow the earth.
As long as you're not going to try to get ignoble when we begin working our trade, then it doesn't matter to me who you worship. Standing in over the fire while you're having this conversation, you do see that the two twins have arrived, and they're in new red robes, and they've been cleaned up, and they hover over the group. And they look at each other for a moment, and they look back at you, and they kind of nod and smile as they seem somewhat surprised that you're not dead. My brother wishes to extend our apology. We are in your debt. What can we do to repay you?
Can we maybe talk privately? My friends are trying to enjoy their dinner, and I don't want to...
There's a lot of grumbling around the fire. Of course, we can speak privately, but business of this Zentarum cell is not secretive. We will share whatever information we glean with them in time. If you agree, then by all means.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to ruin their dinner currently. So let's
You walk away from the fire with the twins, and we slip away into the rainy night and across the dock ward. To Calder. You're walking through the streets, and you have with you a companion that has been assigned to you by Filthy Meg. It is a rat catcher, dirty but strategically so. Has a long hooked nose and a hunched shoulder on one side, moving through the street with a number of cages on their back. And the cages are filled with these screeching rodents. His name to you has been known as Stimp. And he is a fairly crotchety older man and doesn't talk a whole lot, stopping often to take large swigs from a flask that he produces from one of his coats. You've been gathering both coin and information. He often has been letting you walk into the taverns, walk into the fishing shacks and the boats to collect whatever it is you're supposed to get. He's just sort of there to facilitate getting you to the right place at the right time. And upon your travels, you and Stimp find your way to a series of docks known as the Anchor's Rest. This area has been cordoned off, and there's a lot of official city guard presence here. There are some fishermen that you were supposed to talk to on the other side, but the guard has stopped you. Hold right there. Where is it that you think you're going, trash?
Catching rats, sir.
Just catching rats? What the fuck? You're the worst, the type of god, the one that thinks that they're so much better than everybody else. Look at you.
Like, oh, you made him mad. Oh, God.
Hey, you motherfucker, I'm talking to you.
Oh, don't touch me. Get away.
Oh, come
Stand
on.
back.
Stim, come on. Let's just go do our work. He I'm sure he didn't mean to be a classist bastard. Let's continue on our way.
Your mother is in the seven hells servicing Asmodeus, you piece of shit.
Yeah, he's very sensitive about his work, sir. It's best not to antagonize him too much. It just doesn't stop.
Make a persuasion check, please, Calder. And I'm going to give you an advantage because your RP is on point.
Oh, thank you. God.
That is a 15.
15.
Yeah. So you do convince you plus the performance of Stimp. The two of you kind of like wander back.
You've got to be careful.
Thanks for the heads up.
I'd hate to see you in trouble. It seems that Meg is taking a shining to you.
Thank you. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing yet, but
usually those who work for Meg for too long either end up like me or dead. Yeah, you're probably
it's just
not.
a twinkle of existential dread in Cal's eyes. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're probably not gonna die today. It's all right.
Thank you.
What do you think is happening over there for the Anchor's Rest?
I'm sure Meg's been keeping him busy, like she said.
All right. I heard about that. You stole the ring right off of one of those highfalutin fucking pansy wizards. They're always watching with their eyes all over the place.
I hope that they are only watching with their eyes and not listening with their ears. Maybe we should cut the...
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
And my mouth often gets me into trouble. It has, ever since I was a lad your age. You remind me quite a bit of myself when I was young.
I will consider that a compliment, sir.
It's not a compliment at all. You're a good lad. And a piece of advice too. If if you're ever in a game of Three Dragon Ante with a barbarian and two individuals who look like they are the master of sword, and you happen to know that you have a card under the table, maybe think a little bit before just pulling the card out, because as it turns out, there are people who are fairly keen on the idea of playing fair cards.
The audacity.
Yeah, you should still cheat. I'm not telling you not to. You should still cheat, but you should just be very cautious about how you do it.
I'll try to develop my anti-faith.
Calder, we've been traveling now, and I have to tell Meg whether I think you're fit for this or not. And I believe you are. But I want to know, what is it that you want more than anything else? Why are you doing this?
Well, there's something that was mine that was taken from me. And I can't get all of it back, but I can get even.
That's good, boy. Well, it'll take everything from you if you let it. Meg's one of the good ones. She takes her share, fair enough, but she also makes sure that those who need don't go needing for long. So I gotta ask you, are you just doing this for yourself? Or do you care about the people who can't take care of themselves?
I do. Sometimes when you are just trying to survive for so long, you forget about that a bit, but I do.
What I thought. You're a good boy. Remind me of myself. A little less handsome, but I hope you get what you're looking for, and that the bastards that did you wrong pay for it.
Thank you. I hope you and your rats will be very happy together.
Oh, I'm cooking them for dinner.
And he turns and keeps walking down the alley. Elerie, your friend has had a very interesting exchange with you. You talked for quite some time about what you knew and what you were doing and who you were working for. And the barkeep is still pinned to the wall across the way. Is there anything that you'd like to say before the hooded figure steps away from the bar?
What's next?
I suppose that's entirely up to you. You're walking a fine line here. We value loyalty. You don't get opportunities from us. You get orders. You know that we are not what we seem. You've made the unfortunate mistake of placing yourself in between our justice and the justice of the masked lords. I can only hope that you do not mistake the truth for the lie. We control Waterdeep. And if you want to survive here, you serve us. Do you understand, Bard?
I feel my heart beating just very, very fast. And those drinks have gotten to Elerie.
It's funny because the effects of it has slowly kind of rescinded away. And while you still are fully attentive to the drow that sits across from you, there doesn't seem to be any further effects upon you by the time the conversation's over, and you're actually frighteningly sober.
Oh, you'll have to forgive me. I'm frighteningly sober. But yeah, you gave the orders. I'm ready to go.
Good. First, a show of loyalty. I want you to find a city guardman, kill them, and bring their head back here.
You telling me you just want one, or is there a certain name I should look out for?
For the first time in this entire conversation, the drow cracks a very small smile. One head. 24 hours. Get creative.
I think you'll like what I come up with. Well then, I better get out of here. By the way, seems like my living situation's been put into a pretty heavy pinch. Can I go back home, or am I gonna need to look for someplace else to stay?
We can accommodate.
All right, well, thank you. And I one head delivery coming up.
And you step out of the bar into the rainy night. There is a small group of individuals milling about in this area, but it's all very clandestine and frightening, as the individuals within this space do not seem to be on the level. They all have a very suspicious glance that they throw towards you as you interrupt whatever dealings they were in the middle of. Dark corners seem to have eyes that find you, and horses move through the street at a rapid pace, pulling carriages that do not wish to tarry in this part of the dock ward any longer than they must. It is good to see all of you again. Phineas smiles at the four companions that are seated with Bretta. Did you rest well?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Maglo, turns out that the room may not be to your liking. Do you need Tamara to move you?
No, I'm fine.
Siraye, did you rest well?
Siraye just kind of nods.
Hawke, did you rest well?
No, although that wasn't due to your accommodations. They were quite nice. Thank you, Mr. Fiddlescratch.
And I see that you've all met Bretta. Oh, yeah. We've got these new, bright, young faces, seeking adventure in the new world. I wouldn't say that this is so much an adventure as it is a mission of self-preservation. Well, we're probably going to knock some heads together. That constitutes an adventure as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if we found a little adventure along the way.
Oh, see, the lass is already talking my language. We're going to be just fine, Fiddlescratch. Don't you worry. It's hard not to be worried these days. But at the same time, I do see that each of these individuals is quite competent. Something about them. Something that I like very much. They know how to drink a dwarven ale. I have very few problems. Yeah, I don't know if you've been sipping or not sipping or just kind of playing with the tankard, but it's totally fine. Bretta has already... You accepted the cup, which is really all that mattered as far as Bretta was concerned.
I think she would, to avoid attention, just be like, yum, 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 but like not actually drink it.
Yeah, it's if you were to take even the slightest sip of it, it is so flavorful that it kind of knocks you over. And there's some part of your goblinoid like body that's actually very interested in it, but the elven part of your mind that is so unused to these sort of like heavy coarse ales is almost knocked over, even if you just get the slightest smell of it. I'll ask one last time, just to be sure. Are we of an accord of what the situation is and what you need to do?
Go with Bretta, get the box, bring it back here.
The item I'm having you retrieve could very well shift the balance in the underworld here in Waterdeep. Maybe even further out. There's a subterranean layer where one of the safe houses for the group that you know as the Grasping Eye is going to be holding on to an important item. They have a lot of stolen goods there. They work to smuggle all across the city. And if you're able to retrieve a few of these items, it would blacken their eyes something fierce. In doing that, I believe that we will acquire the appropriate material to negotiate a lasting peace for yourself. Certainly, what you're about to retrieve will make the Grasping Eye forget all about your secret books and the offense of removing a few of their employees from that alley.
And you're sure this won't just anger them further?
It couldn't possibly anger them further. They already want you dead.
Whoa, hold up. Nobody told us that we were going underground.
Are you afraid?
No, I'm fine.
Trust me, I've been down there plenty of times. Sure, there's some rats the size of dogs, but I think you're going to be just fine.
What kind of dogs we talking here? Like Chihuahuas or Great Danes?
I don't know those breeds, but I can tell you they're like street dogs. About half the size of you little one. So you stay close to old Bretta Brightgleam, and I'll make sure that none of them get a hold of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what's in this box?
The item that you're retrieving in the box mustn't be talked about. In fact, once you retrieve the box, whatever you do, don't open it. It's for your own safety. Again, I'm trying to protect you and make sure that no innocents get hurt, yourselves included.
Insight check.
Go ahead and roll your insight if you so choose.
That is a 4. Plus 2, 6.
You're so excited about that 4, though. You can't tell. Phineas is very difficult to read. You don't get the sense that he's lying to you. But at the same time, if he was, you don't think you would know.
Well, seems like we don't have much of a choice.
Fine. Bring it here, and then you give us what we need?
That's the deal. Whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever you need, I can help you. I've looked over your notes here. Spent a little bit of time with that book of yours, Maglo. It's very impressive. You and your research partner did very good work. It's impressive. But you don't have everything that you need. You're just a few steps away. The question really is, what will you do with the information once you get it?
Guess we'll find out.
Siraye, Brett is going to be guiding all of you, but I'd like for you to have this. Phineas reaches into his patchwork cloak and produces a leather scroll case and hands it over to you.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna open it and see what it is in this case.
Yeah, they're maps of Waterdeep.
Oh.
And there are
Cool.
some sewer maps as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are instructions written upon it, and you recognize them immediately as a secret code used by the Thieves Guild.
Okay, I'm not part of the Thieves Guild, and I don't have Thieves Can't, so I can't read it.
You don't have Thieves Can't, but you recognize that is what it is.
Okay. And then I'll roll it up and put it back in the scroll case.
All right. Well, is there anything that you'll need before you go? Anything that I can offer to assist you upon your way? Now's the time. Oh, yeah. He's real good at getting things if you're looking for something. Bretta's like pulling her boots back onto her massive feet and grabbing her big blade and sheathing it onto her back.
Some dungeoneering gear might be a good idea, in case we run into any traps or tricks down there.
Oh, you won't need that. Old Bretta's got you covered there. Bretta like pats onto a pack, and you see ropes and pinions and all this adventuring gear kind of strapped to her back as she puts this pack on. Anything else?
I mean, a couple of potions won't go amiss.
I can do that. Anything else before you go? All right. Phineas steps out for a moment and comes back with a couple of bottles of something from what looks like bottles that you saw in the back of the bar and hands them to you. These are curatives. They should aid you if you should become injured on the road. They're not inexhaustible, and I'm afraid that they will do just enough to keep somebody standing. So use them wisely. You have 2 potions. They are healing potions, unless you want to do an identify. I can't really tell you more.
2 each or 2 in total?
2 total.
Cool. Who's holding on to those?
I'll take care of it.
Okay, yeah, he handed them to Maglo. If you want to make some rolls, Maglo, I can have you figure out exactly how effective they are, if you want to do that. Otherwise, the rest of you gather up your things, and Bretta leads you out into the streets of Waterdeep.
Can I, as we're passing by Mr. Fiddle Scratch, say... I just wanted to say that I understand that this situation is bizarre and sudden, and that all of us are distrusting of you, but I did want to say thank you for the hospitality you have shown us and the opportunity to have us be safe again.
Yep. Phineas Fiddle Scratch never breaks his smile, and it's broad and very genuine seeming. And when you say that, and the way that you say that, he seems to grin even wider. I understand. And I want you to know that no matter how dark it gets, there's always light. Be safe. Travel well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Hawke is going to be the last one that goes out. And he just has a quick word with Phineas, if that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
All right. He kind of gets his pack together and everything. He looks at Phineas. Listen, I know you said you could give me direction, but I have that. What I do know is that you seem to be a well-connected person with a lot of information. So after this is all done, and we got a good hour or 2 between us, I'd like to pick your brain.
Whatever you like. I'd be happy to help you, Hawke.
Thank you. I head out.
May the Dawn Lord's light be with you.
He just freezes up. And then keeps walking.
And you pass through the doors, and all of you are outside of the Golden Owl. We're going to be moving on foot, so I need you to stay close and to stay quiet. And please, for the sake of all the gods in the sky, do not make a scene.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, come.
Sounds good to me.
So you and the group travel through the streets of Waterdeep, and during the morning hours, The city is bustling with life. There are people in carriages that are moving like a sea of water rushing through the streets and pushing their way back and forth on all the varied business of their lives. She walks very, very quickly for someone of her stature and makes her way to a number of merchants, greets them with a hello, flips them a few coins, buys apples for all of you, and passes them out. She leads you to an alleyway and stops. When it seems as if it's clear, she quickly motions for all of you to rush into the alleyway. Do you comply?
Yes.
Yes.
There are boxes that are stacked up here and midden heaps and other piles of trash that have been rotting for some time, untended by those who would clean the streets and the alleys of Waterdeep. You move closer and closer to what you realize is a large metal grate that is inset into the very wall of Waterdeep itself. Now, the walls of Waterdeep are enormous. They stretch all the way around the majority of the city, and they are as high as some of the buildings. Every once in a while, there will be a sewer grate that is placed within it that are here to allow for both access to those who need to maintain those sewer passageways, but also for there to be a flow of both clean water and air. The large metal grate is made from very strong and sturdy iron. It looks impenetrable, and the openings in it are only a few feet in diameter. While Doddle might be able to squeeze through one of these breaks in the grate work itself, the rest of you would have a very hard time. Bretta moves a little closer and looks to all of you, looks over her shoulder and pulls out a large ring of keys. On the keys are a large metal objects that have cylinders attached to them. And there is a working of dwarven glyphs upon the side of one of them as Bretta steps forward and moves over to what you realize is a finely made doorway that has been inset into this metal steel grate. The key is slid into a lock that is very cleverly positioned on the side of one of the bars so that you cannot see it when you're looking directly at the grating. She turns it and opens the grate before you. I'm not much of a storyteller and I'm no magician at all, but you got to admit, you didn't see that coming. Now please, after you.
Oh, thank you. Good going. Feeling confident.
Her dirty face is beaming at all of you as you pass through. Doddle enters first. Who's after?
I'll take up the rear.
Hawke's gonna hang in the back because he probably looks like he's about to faint.
Maglo fully waits for the fully armored dude to go in, and then looks back at him in a, well, come on, and then sees his face, and then is like, oh, fuck's sake.
Fine, I'll go in front of you.
You are the most armored one.
Yeah, I'll
go first.
All right, does anybody need light?
Oh, I got it. And then Maglo pulls out a small little crystal on the end of like this metal casing, and then smacks the crystal against the wall, and it glows up, and he's going to cast light.
Magic glow stick.
Busby is on your shoulder and is immediately light goes from green to yellow to like a very bright blue, and it starts piercing through the darkness as it's just kind of scanning around. I imagine that Harold has been left back at your room at the Golden Owl. Is that correct? Okay, just to be sure.
All right, just the sewers. We're not going deep or anything, right?
I promise you, lad, this isn't going to be nearly as deep as where you've gone. I know that look. I know that look well. Old Brightgleam isn't going to take you any further than you wish to go.
Do you want to hold my hand?
Fine.
Reach up and holding Hawke's hand. Ah!
All right, so
That's what's in Doddle's heart.
yeah, so the two of you are holding hands as you're moving through. And you start moving through the darkness of the sewer, all of you, marching down the slick stone corridors. There's water flowing on all sides of you, and there is a lot of rainwater that has rushed these areas. The pathway is strewn with large, vicious-looking rats, and you have to kick your way through piles of them as you push yourself forward in this dark and dank corridor. Bretta stops from time to time and studies certain passageways, looking left and right and the way that you've come before. The pathway ahead is always clear to Bretta, passing you along a series of bridges into large cisterns that are junctions where all of the sewers of Waterdeep begin to gather together. You can see that this is almost as intricate as the street system above ground. It seems fairly peaceful, quiet almost. There's dripping water, and every footfall has an echo to it. The squeaking of rats can sometimes be loud, but other than that, the fear that maybe you felt at the initial entrance of this place has melted away. The exception to all of this would be you, Hawke. Your heart is racing. Your palm in Doddle's is sweating profusely.
Can I say Doddle practices her new spell and every so often just goes, getting the sweat off the hands so they can keep holding them?
I think that is very fair to say. As you push forward, everything gets darker. You move deeper and deeper underground. June, the twins are looking at you very levelly, waiting for you to speak.
How is your friend?
She will, in fact, live.
Good. That's good. I was a little worried. But here's the thing. Back on the docks, there was something I was looking for.
Please, go on.
I told you, I follow Sylvanas. Well, someone took something from me, a very valuable item that is a direct connection to my god. And I have to get that back, and I believe it's somewhere on the docks of Waterdeep. What I need help with is, she kind of hangs her head a little in shame and goes, stealing it back.
That is all?
Yeah, basically.
They both kind of look at each other, and it's as if they speak wordlessly from time to time, and then they look back to you. You have brought our companion back from the very edge of death. We owe you a debt. We will find the location of this item, but you are going to need to tell us everything. What my brother means here is everything must be said. You cannot leave anything out, otherwise we will not be able to help you. You have earned our trust. You have nothing to fear, as long as you do not ever betray us.
They took from me my shield of Sylvanas. That item itself is connected to me and my people in a way that others won't understand. That shield is what I need. That is what I came to this place for. I just want to take my shield and then go off to find the other things that I am out to search for and then be gone from here.
You say that this is a shield of Sylvanas. It has power to it, yes?
Yeah, it does.
Is it attuned to you?
In a way.
As mages of the Zentarum, we have abilities that have been granted to us. We can use your blood to track it.
My blood?
Not much. I can understand your hesitation, but you have received our word. And despite what you might have heard about the Zentarum, we do have a code.
Okay, how much time do you need? I'll give you my blood.
The woman, half of these twins, steps forward and takes your hand and produces a hooked dagger and rakes it across your palm without any sort of warning. And blood begins to pool up in your hand. Immediately, she turns her fingers and whispers something, and the blood begins to float and accumulate into what looks like an invisible bowl. And it forms almost an orb of your own blood that is floating there, and you can see a very slight shimmer around it. And then she speaks another word and takes your palm and licks it, and as she does, the wound closes.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
The Zentarum have secrets that many have not seen. Now that you are amongst us, perhaps we could find a place for this power of yours.
Maybe.
Sylvanas is welcome amongst us. You return, Calder, from a full day of operating within the dock ward alone. You have a pouch full of coin and a number of scrolls that have been gathered. You have been entrusted with your own route here within this part of the city. There is a tavern that they need you to attend to, one that requires a payment that is overdue. And as you enter into this tavern, it seems familiar to you, though you think you've only passed through it maybe once or twice in your time here. There is a priest of Tamora with a cup, and there are children, orphans, that are running about collecting coins for the goddess of luck.
Copper for the luck of Tamora. May the blessings of Tamora be upon you.
Lady Luck looks over all of us, my child, and the priest has ejected himself out of his seat. Perhaps you would like a more fulsome understanding of the luck and guidance that can be given to you by the lady. Your coin will always be welcome here, son.
I'll keep that in mind. Hopefully, this visit results in me being able to come back. I'm here on some business for a certain aquatic acquaintance I think we might both share.
Oh, yes. And immediately his face sort of drops, and he seems disappointed that you're not. You're part of the cogs in the machine that move through now.
Yeah.
Look, I understand you may require payment from me. I must be honest, as it is my nature. It has been a very rough 10 day for us. My children and I have simply not acquired the funds that would allow us to pay back Meg. I mean, her expectations, let's say they're a little unrealistic for what a penniless cleric can provide. Granted, I borrowed the money. Yes, it's true. Young lad, I see in your eyes an entrepreneurial spirit.
I want to do an insight check on when he said that. Just to see if he is like being truthful about the.
Go ahead and make an insight roll, please.
Yeah. This is not my best. Oh.
Yeah. 13 is actually above average. It's pretty good. Let me see if his deception is going. Yes. Yeah, you think that he's not on the level, but at the same time, you don't necessarily know that he has the coin.
Right. Listen, sir, it's not me that requires anything at all, but Meg is not somebody that you want to be on the wrong side of. Trust me, I've been around.
I couldn't agree more. Perhaps you and I could make an arrangement outside of Meg.
Kyle just raises one eyebrow, very skeptical, and what would that be?
Well, what if I were to pay you a quarter of what I owe Meg now, and you were to tell Meg that I had been waylaid, and that I was attacked, perhaps, and that due to that attack from ruffians, I had been robbed. And in that robbery, the coin that I was meant to give back to Meg was stolen right before your eyes.
Hal squints at this man and thinks for a second and says, "So where did the money that she lent you actually go?"
Well, I believe that it is mostly just an accounting error. Perhaps a poor expenditure here or there. Nothing too uncommon. But you understand that as a clergyman, I have so many mouths to feed, and the coin does go so quickly.
So I'm to understand that you simply don't have it.
Yes. I do not have the payment that is required today. But I will shortly, if Meg is able to extend any sort of grace for it. I would think that within the next 10 days, certainly the fortunes of Timura would shine upon me once again.
Listen, I can try my best to help you out, but Meg is pretty good at telling when people are lying to her, and
All right, look, I'll give you a trade then. Perhaps I could offer information as opposed to coin.
I do think she would be happier with that.
What do you know of the half-elf known as Elerie Seaborn?
Never heard the name, so much as I can recall.
Well, allow me to illuminate you. Elerie, the streets are dark. It's raining. how are you going about this task?
Going to the dock ward.
Oh, you're there. You're
Okay.
deep in the dock ward.
I'm gonna go to that spot where I was checking out those guards before. So I want to get as close to the spot that people aren't supposed to be at as I can.
So you make your way back to the Anchor's Rest. A very large, well-muscled, stern-looking individual with a shaved scalp and long mustache pushes forward. All right, hold there. That's far enough. We've already had this conversation. You're allowed to move freely anywhere but in this section. A number of other guards kind of like stand and they're off in the distance.
I'm so sorry, but I just keep getting directions to come here, and it seems that someone is pulling my strings. But since I'm here, perhaps you can help me.
How can I help you?
Let's be honest. You know, I want to get in there. But in order for me to do my job, I'm gonna need to get past you.
That's interesting. Because for me to do my job, I have to be in front of you, preventing you from entering that alleyway.
Well, perhaps we could go into that alleyway together. And she gives him, like, a little wink. I mean, you know, we've got a reputation around here. Perhaps, you and I could get busy. Together?
I don't know. Let's see if that's gonna work. Yeah, we'll leave it to a roll.
Thank you.
I need to know.
I mean, he mentioned the alleyway, so clearly he's thinking about it.
Well, the alleyway is specifically the area that no one's supposed to enter. But let's see what we got here.
I mean, that wasn't a no.
It wasn't a
Wasn't
no.
it no?
It wasn't a no.
He's thinking about it.
So give me a performance check.
Oh no, none of these checks ever go well. So, all right.
You are a bard, so
With a 13.
okay, it's an insight check. I'm sorry to say, he narrows his eyes and looks at you. If you think that I am so reckless as to take someone so well armed down an alleyway on honeyed words, you take me for a fool.
You could unarm me.
Insight check. He motions to the others, and they step forward and hold out their hands for you to hand them your weapons. Very well.
All right, I hand over the weapons.
Do you give them all of your weapons, or do you keep anything?
None of this stuff means anything to me. Yeah, they can take it.
Yeah, so it's like a sword and all that. I mean, do you have a dagger or any sort of weapon on you at all?
They're gonna pat me down, so I'm not gonna chance it.
You're not going to chance it?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, you relinquish the weapons that you have, and you don't hide anything. You don't keep anything upon your person. They don't take your mandolin. That wouldn't really be considered a weapon. They hold on to them as the guard then marches you into this alleyway. And down the alleyway, you see, hanging over a building, the siren's call. Dangling on a number of winches, the ropes are wrapped across it, and it has been dry docked, pulled from the water, and now hangs over one of the many buildings that are used to repair, rebuild, and refashion the ships that are in desperate need of repair that often come through this section of the dock ward. There are scaffoldings and other areas that have been built up around the building, and when you enter into this alleyway, you see that there are some lights and some lanterns inside of the ship, and it looks as if someone is moving around on the inside of it. Surrounding it are the skeletal remains of other ships that have been similarly tethered, but they are rotten and falling apart. From the looks of it, your former ship, the one that you spent a good deal of time upon, has been relegated to this fate, where it will hang here until it falls apart. Memories start to swell over you. You remember the ship when it was in better days, rocking gently across the sea of swords. Siren's Call has seen many ports and has always been a stalwart and trustworthy ship. It's like greeting an old friend, but finding that your friend isn't well. On death's door. You and this shaved head captain enter into the alleyway. He turns to you. You have my full attention.
I just keep, again, digging myself. And this is Kaza. I just keep digging myself further into this, and I don't know how to get out.
Seeing you facepalm at your own character's decisions is kind of incredible, I have to say.
I'm sweating really hard.
Kaza, you are so smart. You are so creative. If anybody can get out of this, it's you.
Did the Inquisitor give you all the information about what's going on here? Like, I don't want to embarrass you or anything, and I know that you're just being tough in front of your guys and you had them disarm me. You know, I was all in on it, but Sternwold really wants me to go to the Siren's Call. You can stand here, you can look good for your boys and your pals and the whole team, but I got to get out over there.
You understand Sternward has already been through the ship 3 times.
Yeah, but Sternwold, it's not me, so... know that place like the back of my hand. Gonna go
These
in and out.
Inquisitors are endless. It is exhausting to try to keep up with them.
All right, argue with me all you want, but if Sternwold comes back down here and he sees that you didn't let me in here, it's gonna be a bigger deal than
all right.
I don't know what you're trying to give me.
Make a persuasion check with an advantage. That was good RP. So I'm gonna give you an advantage.
I got a 17 and a 19. It's the best roll I've gotten so far.
Yeah, you got a 19 is really what that comes down to. All right. So,
I can smell my body. I'm sweating so much.
all right. I have to go grab a specific note. Just give me 1 second.
Oh my goodness.
You did so good,
Kaza, I love you so much.
You did so good.
That's very fun.
But again, remember guys, like, this could go bad at any time.
Look, I will give you a quarter of an hour. After that, I will send my guards to retrieve you. If you are, at that point, still present, we will have words again, and they will not be this honeyed nonsense that you've given me in the street.
Hopefully you won't be seeing me again.
Move on quickly before anyone finds out.
Hey, I appreciate you sticking your neck out for me, bud.
I'll have my guards leave your weapons in that corner. When you come back out. He turns and just walks away, shaking his head. So do you make your way up the scaffolding to the Siren's Call?
Yes.
Make a dexterity saving throw. Your foot immediately kind of slips on the wet wood, and you do manage to catch yourself. Make an acrobatics check, please. You realize how precarious it is on this scaffolding as you work your way up. You're 3 stories above street level, and there are a number of lanterns that are hanging, swaying in the breeze as the rain kind of continues to come down. You make your way to the top of the ship, and sure enough, below deck, you hear movement. What do you do?
It's raining really heavily.
It's a light spatter of rain at this time.
Elerie would like to discreetly move aboard the ship, sneak up on this person, whoever they are. She definitely doesn't want them to know she's there. Just another face seeing her would probably not be good for her. But she would like to go towards where that person is to see who it is.
Yeah, you get a little closer, and sure enough, there are a number of guards that are on patrol in the ship. They are city watch, and they have a halberd with them and a lantern, and they're marching back and forth, ensuring that the ship is safe.
On the inside?
On the inside.
Okay. But listen, I've been on this ship for a long time, so I gotta know something. Okay. I want to go towards the captain's quarters.
Okay, you start moving towards the captain's quarters. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me. It's very quiet. You're sneaking across. You make your way to the doorway, and it is locked. It's a sturdy lock and a very sturdy door. There are windows inset into it, but each of them is only about 6 inches, in panels that are worked across the front. You could break a window out, but you couldn't possibly reach the handle on the other side, and you wouldn't be able to move through the window yourself. There are windows on the very back, but you would have to dangle off the rear of the ship to be able to break through.
May I search the area, around the door, or just like this little area, just to see if there's like anything that could help me open this door, or just like make it come open, or just not have to like push it or kick it in and make a big noise.
You're looking for something that you might be able to use to pry the door open. Am I hearing that right?
That, or like if I don't think there would be a key, they would have found it, or maybe they put it. So I'm just like looking around to see if there's anything I can do to get into the door.
There are some tools on the deck of the ship that would suffice if you wish to go try to find one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go find myself a tool.
Okay, make a stealth check across the deck of the ship if that's what you choose to do.
Ooh, okay.
You are as silent as the grave as you move across. And you come to a wooden box that's full of tools. There are tools scattered everywhere. And you see a long crowbar that would serve your purposes well. And it's in the box with a few other tools.
Definitely taking the crowbar.
As you do, there's a clatter of tools and a noise.
Stay very still and patiently wait to see if there's like any repercussions for that.
Make an investigation check for me as I make your perception check. An investigation of 15 is very good. The marching footsteps of the guards below deck stop. And you hear one set of them turn and start moving the opposite direction. Then you hear the feet as they start to step in their heavy boots up the stairs.
I'd like to hide. Is the crowbar sharp?
No, but it's very heavy.
She's gonna try and hide, but ready herself to strike this person if she gets the opportunity to get them from like the back of the head. Like if she can catch them off guard, she is taking that.
You duck behind a barrel. Who goes there? Hello? I know there's someone here. I heard I heard something. If you're looking for food, that could be provided. But elsewhere, this is a crime scene. You're trespassing. Who's there? And you hear the steps as they pass by you, and they keep looking around. Make a final stealth check. Can't. You're 17. So you are so quiet right now. The guard looks around and starts walking down the steps back below decks and disappears out of your sight. And you begin breathing again. Hawke, Maglo, Siraye, and Doddle. Things have become rather bleak as the more well-kept passageways have fallen away, and you are in a rotted segment of the city. Follow me, and do not tarry. Walk carefully. I need each of you to make an acrobatics check to prevent yourself from falling into the sludge beneath. 17. Maglo 5. Siraye 23. Hawke 12. Maglo, would you like to put a flash of genius on that?
Comes a 9.
Okay, but
I'm
a 9...
a sludge boy now.
No, but a 9 prevents you from doing more than just misstepping and dipping your boot into it. So you pull your boot back up in a misstep as you feel Bretta's strong hand grasp onto you as you're about to tumble totally in. Now then, lad, you need to pay attention to where you're going. All that book learning isn't going to do you no good if you're drowned. And it certainly isn't going to help your pride if you dip your face into that.
Would I? I'm considering mumbling under my breath, like, I'm sure his pride could take a bigger hit than that. But I don't think I know Maglo well enough yet, so we're going to say it's not canon.
We are close. And this safe house, like all of the safe houses that are used by the grasping eye, are very heavily protected. Some are guarded in ways that you couldn't imagine. But if we have to take care of anyone, I suggest we do so quietly. Allow me to show you what this little gang you've upset is capable of. And Bretta picks up a rock and throws it further down the passageway. And immediately these spears shoot up out of the ground and form a barrier in front of you. There's knee-deep water that follows deeper into this passageway. Now, I'm afraid there's no other way to go. Do all of you know how to swim?
Siraye nods.
It's a little hard, but I can do it.
It's very dark here. Your light, Maglo, is the only thing that is casting any sort of illumination. Busby has a little pinprick of blue light that they've been throwing onto the stones and other things, and you get a little network of beeps every once in a while, but for the most part, Bretta seems to be leading the way. Bretta steps forward and starts searching around the wall, eventually coming upon a series of stones and presses down on the stones, and the spears slowly retract. Now then, you do exactly what I do. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Here, Doddle, was it?
Yeah?
Thank you for earlier. Why don't I, he takes out his bottle. May I? It's a protection spell.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
He takes out a water flask and he just like dunks water onto his hand and then he flings it on Doddle's coat. And as it hits her, it starts to, the little pinpricks begin to freeze and forms into like a small like curious of ice armor and then kind of fades away into a shimmering shield. And I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis at the 2nd level on Doddle, giving her 10 temporary hit points, and anytime somebody does a melee attack on her, so long as she has those hit points, they take 5 cold damage.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you, Hawke.
Bretta leads you through a network of passageways. They get darker, and you're all trudging through waist-high water. Doddle, for you, it's up to your neck. You make your way to a flat stone wall. And on that stone wall is what looks like a half-circular door. It's a very strange shape, and there doesn't seem to be any handle or any sort of lock or key placement upon it. And Bretta begins to move her large hands across it. Doesn't really fit here, does it?
Why not?
This is stonecraft. Fairly well done, in fact. I cannot believe that they found a dwarven craftsman willing to do this. The fact that they would put the time and effort into making something so beautiful and putting it here in the middle of a sewer.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised the beautiful craftsmanship that goes into a killing hall.
Maybe. Originally it wasn't in the sewer. Maybe they took it from your dwarven friends.
Maybe you're right, Siraye. She starts licking her finger and tracing across the dwarven runes that are on the interior of the door. She pushes her hand against a single stone in the center and shifts it counterclockwise and then back the other direction and then slides it up and to the left. And there's a clicking noise and the door rolls open in front of all of you. Passageway opens up before you. There is a series of stairs that lead up, and there are flickering torch lights off in the distance. It seems as if these sconces have been lit not too long ago. What would you like to do? Who's moving in first?
I'm sticking real close to Bretta, probably going right after her.
Maglo's gonna turn to Siraye. Like, supposed to be quiet anyway. After you.
Siraye's gonna go in and can I check for traps or like investigate to see if there's anything entrapped in this hallway?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you make an investigation check as you start to look across the stone floors and all the areas. You do have thieves' tools, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Disguise kit, thieves' tools, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you got a 19 with your actual investigation, which is a -1 actually. You got an 18. So you're starting to look around. Make a sleight of hand check, please.
Hawke will begrudgingly follow in because he knows he has the suit of armor.
That's a total of an 8. Not great, but not disastrous. You don't see any traps immediately, Siraye. You do think that there are traps in this space, though. You're just not sure where they are. It seems to be safe. You should get in before that door closes.
Doddle nods nervously and moves ahead.
Maglo also walks ahead.
Once everyone is inside, The door closes slowly with a rolling grind of stone on stone.
Bretta, how are we gonna get out?
I can open the door again. No need to worry.
And then I'm gonna look ahead and kind of investigate again and see if I can see anything.
All right, Bretta is just following you step by step, kind of looking along the walls as well. You have the aid quality to this, so go ahead and roll with advantage for your investigation. Natural 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Woo!
You're moving down this corridor, and there's a flickering torchlight some area ahead, and Bretta's looking around as well. It's a little too quiet, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what the regular amount of quiet is, so I'm afraid I have no opinion about that.
You find that Bretta is investigating a sconce here and stops all of you, holding her large hand upward. All right, all of you, just wait right here. Is there anything that the rest of you want to do while you're stopped?
No, I want to do exactly what this dwarven woman tells me to.
Bretta stops and then turns the sconce, and the flame flickers for a moment, and then it retreats back into its original position, but there's a loud clunk as a doorway opens. I think we found one of their secret passages.
I would imagine anything of value they would try and hide from plain sight. So the secret door is probably the best bet.
Yeah,
Indeed.
More importantly, it's probably less trapped.
Siraye, you can make another investigation check with an advantage. 12 total. Okay,
Woof.
So yeah, you all start moving forward. And Bretta doesn't seem to be any wiser either. Do you all follow after?
Yeah.
So Bretta immediately stops and then throws her arm outward and prevents you, Siraye, from taking a final step forward. Do not breathe. Quietly, she very carefully takes a rock out of one of her pouches and drops it in front of her. And as she does, the floor falls away and reveals a pit trap. "30 feet below, there are sharpened metal spears. So you have 10 feet to the other side, and you have to tell me how you'd like to get across this pit."
Doddle stares at the pit for a second and then goes, how am I gonna get out of this? And then she notices a small 8-legged friend dangling down on a little thread beside her. She stops for a second because she swears she heard the spider talking to her. And she picks him up. Are you trying to help me, small friend? She doesn't hear him speak again, but she seems to learn something from him silently. And give me a second, what was the other thing I need for Spider Climb?
It's verbal. I think it's verbal.
And concentration,
Yeah.
right? That's
and,
it.
and I'll drop a vitamin, but I don't know what that is. So she's gonna whisper to her new spider friend in Elvish and give him a little kiss, and then send him on his way. And then as the spider crawls up the wall, she's gonna like mimic his movement, and she's gonna cast spider climb, and she's gonna climb up the wall. Poof, 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 poof.
So full of fucking surprises. I was like, whoa, I got an idea. He gets out a small, what looks like a drone, with these 4 little propellers, and he pulls out rope and then like pushes one end of the rope in, and there's this quite loud click. And Maglo presses in the top of it, and he's gonna cast Rope Trick.
Look at the big brain on this one.
You know.
Did you build all these, Maglo?
I did, I.
Bretta swings across and makes her way over to the side very easily. Who else is coming across? You just have to make an acrobatics check and not horribly suck at it. It's athletics or acrobatics, whichever you choose.
Oh shit! Look at me.
Got a natural 20.
I don't want to do.
It doesn't do much, but Maglo is going to use a flash of genius on that to make it a 9.
All right, so it looks like everyone makes it across. Hawke, you do not do really well here, and you slip. And as you...
Since I did really well, can I grab onto Hawke's, like, the front of Hawke's armor?
I will give you an opportunity to... Siraye, you can make an athletics check to try to pull Hawke up. 16 is pretty good. So Siraye, you grab onto Hawke and lift him up out, and with Hawke's help, you pull everybody over to the other side, and no one has fallen into the pit.
Hawke, are you okay?
I just hate holding onto ropes. Yeah, we're good.
The doorway before you is open.
I'll take leave with her after Bretta.
There is a corridor that leads to the right and to the left. Which way would you like to go?
Troy left.
Left?
Sure.
You find another corridor that leads down to a set of stairs that leads downward.
Can I take a little peek down the stairs?
It's dark, and you do hear something deeper below, Doddle. Your goblin ears perk up, and you can make an investigation check.
22.
It sounds like a large creature moving behind a cage. Yeah, Bretta leads you a little further down and then steps onto this platform here, and immediately a series of jagged spears shoot upward. Bretta throws themselves backwards, nearly toppling over you, Doddle, as the spears shoot upward, and Bretta is stabbed in the leg.
Oh, damn it! Oh, the 7 hills!
Here. I'm gonna use my healing hands to heal her for 7 hit points.
As you do, you see the wound close itself, and while they're still somewhat wounded by the trap, it doesn't seem as if they're poisoned or anything of that ilk. And Bretta pulls themselves up off of the stone wall and stands before all of you.
All right, that was a surprise.
Are you doing okay?
We didn't have time to stop and rest. Through all of this,
secret room not being trapped.
Yeah.
I think we need to jump over this area. I don't know how to disarm this without spending more time on it.
Doddle, have you got...
A spider climb across again. Do.
Should we just let Doddle do the work here and take a look before we move forward?
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Would it?
Just be quiet, Doddle.
The first sign of any trouble, come running back to us, okay?
Yeah. Little one, we'll be right here, ready to rush in if anything causes you any sort of harm at all. Just be careful and be quiet as a mouse, and move yourself in there and take a quick peek and tell us what you see.
And stay climbing. Stay high.
Okay. And I'm gonna keep climbing out the wall.
And you work...
Pretending to be a lot braver than I actually am.
You work your way over, Doddle, and you immediately find yourself in a large chamber that is covered with cobwebs, and there is a large steel panel that is built into the ground with a lever that has been chained with heavy chains and locks. And there's a flickering torch here as well, a sconce that burns with an oil reserve that seems to have been burning for some time, as there's black soot all along the wall around it. But beneath this large metal plate in the opening window that is barred, you see the movement of scales, and you hear something moving and growling.
Can I get closer to the cage?
You can climb on the ceiling if you like, or you can climb.
I just go to like where the metal part begins, and I like lean in and say hello.
There is a low, fierce sounding rumble that emerges as something moves. A large eye blinks, and you can see that it's watery and yellow. A tentacle raises up from the bars and slithers around, grabbing at things, and then pulls itself back.
Oh. I think it's best if that thing stays in there. There's a lever beside the cage.
It is wrapped in chains and locks that are very large.
Let's be crafty about this. I'm gonna reach into my pockets and grab a little string
All right.
and tie it to a little bell. I'm going to begin to tie it to the entrance to this like little cage room. I'm gonna say, but maybe, when we're up there, somebody will trip over this and we'll hear the bell, and I'm going to tie it to the other side, and as I do, the bell's gonna tinkle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tinkle. The bell's gonna tinkle a little bit, and I'm gonna hear it inside my mind and be like, ah. That's very convenient. And I'm going to head back up the stairs.
You see Bretta just like standing there with her sword ready, waiting for you. Oh, lass, you made it back. Good to see. What did you find?
There's a strange creature in a cage down there that I can't imagine is very friendly, but I did cast some kind of spell so that if anybody enters that room, I'll know.
There must be something else here, though. Why else would they put this trap here?
If they're holding on to some sort of beastie down there, it makes sense to me that they would be wanting to keep it safe so that no one else was able to set it free.
But it's a beastie that is probably really strong, and having a trap here while they're moving it would be very inconvenient.
Well, I would imagine that somewhere here there's a key that would turn off the trap if we can find it.
And then I'm gonna investigate the hallway again.
Okay, go ahead and roll with an advantage.
Right, Bretta, come here. Let me take a look at your leg, and then Maglo's gonna fiddle with it as Siraye's looking.
While you're doing it, Bretta is shouting out directions very quietly under her breath. Like she's whisper shouting to you, Siraye. No, try the lift. And so she's like giving you directions on dwarven stonecraft as you move your way through. You do, however, eventually find what you think is a trigger, but you do not know for certain because you haven't rolled well enough. Do you want to make a sleight of hand check?
Yeah, sure.
You pull out your thieves' tools and you investigate a little further.
Woof. Bretta, I think there's something here, but I can't seem to grasp it.
Try taking one of those hooky bits there and working it through the crack by where the stone be.
And I do as she says.
Yeah, you can roll with an advantage now. Sleight of hand. Wow, you are not rolling well.
I'm the rogue, guys, I promise.
You've managed to disarm the trap, only the spears now are permanently up, and it's hard to pass through them in that way now. There's pretty much a cage that's been erected here in this area now. And Doddle, you are able to climb along the wall without a problem, but if somebody doesn't have spider climb or fly, it's going to be difficult.
Well,
you did fine last. Hopefully, we do not need to come back this way again.
I can fit through the spikes, right? Because I'm
small.
You're also on the ceiling, so you're able to pass through, no problem.
Okay, I can get somebody else, but a climb.
Ooh, what a feeling. All right, Doddle's dancing on the ceiling.
Lad,
Okay.
lad, you done a fine job on my leg. It ain't worth the effort. Trust me.
God healing don't really get to like the root of the problem, right? It needs to be checked over. It's more like glamour healing than anything. So I'm just making sure that it's fine.
Hawke chooses to ignore this, but he lets out like a annoyed grunt.
Much appreciated, both of you.
We know it's that way. That's great. Let's keep going the other direction.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
If you're ready, we have one more path to take. There is a metal grate on the ground in this section in the corner. And you do hear the faint rumbles of whatever beast is being held in that cage below. All right, no one drop anything here. It will be bad. And Bretta leads you down the corridor further. Does anyone do anything as you're moving through?
I'm just gonna keep investigating, so if there's traps.
Maglo is also going to start doing some investigations.
Momo would like to do the first dumb thing of the campaign. Please and thank you.
Is it though? Is it?
I feel like we have done many silly things.
Bretta gave us some apples, right?
Yes.
Will the apple fit down the grate?
Yeah, you could drop an apple down the grate.
As we're passing by, since looks like I'm the last one there, I'm just gonna take my apple and just let it fall down the grate in case the monster wants it to snack.
How loud was that?
I immediately look back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look up.
Why?
I don't know how long he's been trapped in there. I thought he might be hungry.
He doesn't seem like a herbivore, does he?
I don't know that.
Siraye, I want you to make another investigation with an advantage.
Oh, aren't you supposed to be a goblin?
Okay.
I thought goblins knew this
Make a sleight of hand as you make your way to the door. Oh, that is another natural 20. Siraye, Bretta is like searching things out and pulls another sconce and turns it, and there's a metal rotation sound. And this door that's in front of you that's made out of metal, it has an eye on it with a hand that is grabbing onto the eye like this. And as Bretta turns this sconce, the eye rotates and spins in front of you, and it shifts between a series of colors. Red, green, blue, purple, and then it stops back at a blank eye. The badges that you had seen on the individuals that you had fought in the alleyway were red. You realize what you have to do.
Bretta, do that again.
And she pulls it down. There's a mechanical gear work, and it spins in front of you.
As soon as I see the red one, I'm gonna bop it.
You're gonna bop it? Spin it?
Twist it. Pull it.
Okay, so I need you to you strike it at the red. I'm not going to make you make a roll for it. You do press, and immediately the door slides open in front of you, revealing the chamber beyond. You got a keen eye, lass. Pretty impressive for an elf. There's a
Point
metal.
at her while she says that.
Me too.
No fucking duh, I'm an elf is what's going on in my head, but
No offense intended at all. I've known plenty of elves, just not all of them quite so keen when it comes to these sorts of triggers. There are a number of enormous suits of armor. There are crates here, steamer trunks, and treasure chests that are stacked up in one corner. Specifically, there is one well-made treasure chest that is sitting here on this side of the room. Yeah, in the center of the room is a viscous pool of slime that is coating the entire floor here. There is an additional doorway on the opposite side of the room here. Does anyone have any questions as they look upon this?
Does anything in the room look dangerous to us?
There are weapons in the hands of these enormous statue-like suits of armor. They're much too large to be worn by regular humans. It seems like these might be made for giant folk of some sort. There are a number of sconces that are burning here. Everybody can make a nature check if they like.
Nature?
That's right.
22.
For some weird reason, I have proficiency in nature, and that's still a 6.
You merely adopted the nature. I was born into it.
I know. I was really excited about my 22.
No, it was still very good, my love. 22 is very good. It's shit next to my natural 20, though.
Okay, so yeah, Maglo, you did great. The slime. Everybody needs to stay away from the slime. Doddle. Yes, the slime is alive. You're certain of it as you look upon it, and it probably has acidic properties, sentient and dangerous. It will burn the flesh off of anyone that it touches.
Do I know the name of this goop monster? Just to flex on Maglo?
Yeah, you want to flex on Maglo?
A little, yeah.
This particular form, while it is green in hue, is known as a gray ooze.
Gray ooze. Okay. I would like to throw my arms in front of my friends and say, I know this is going to be a lot of information to process in a very short amount of time, but that giant green slime is called a gray ooze. It's highly acidic and very dangerous and also alive. And also they can run it. Take your time.
Can I insight check Doddle? Because it sounded weird that a goblin knows all this stuff.
I mean, you can if you choose to.
I mean, yeah.
Can I roll a deception to just be like a very smart goblin?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, my himbo powers actually didn't activate this time.
13.
Yeah, so it is kind of suspicious that this goblin knows so much specific information about this ooze, but it also doesn't lead you to believe specifically anything other than this goblin is more than what it seems. She clearly has more information than she's sharing. Is that okay, Hawke?
Yeah, that's great. Hawke just kind of looks at her, raises an eyebrow.
The ooze stops moving. So how do you want to proceed?
Does Fiddle Scratch tell us what kind of box we're looking for?
Yes.
What kind of box are we looking for?
Everybody roll initiative.
What?
You son of a bitch. You darn tutor.
15.
Hey, 18.
Boo, 9.
Oh, 21. Look at me.
Okay, so Siraye, you're going to be going first. What do you want to do?
I can't do shit since what Doddle said requires me to use my spear that is metal. So I'm going to try and sneak around it and not disturb it so I can investigate the boxes.
Yeah, you all got a lot of information that really saved your butts there, because if you had started attacking this ooze with your weapons, most likely your weapons would have been destroyed, with a couple of exceptions.
You're welcome.
So you
I'm gonna
start
go to the
examining-
door.
Okay, you're gonna move
I'm
over
gonna
to the
sneak
door.
around to the door because if what we're getting is super special, it probably is behind an extra lock somewhere.
Okay, as soon as you walk towards the door, a pseudopod shoots out from the ooze as it is taking its reaction to attack you.
Shit.
Siraye!
I'm gonna spend a key point.
You don't need to.
I'm gonna try and dodge it.
Yeah, well, you don't need to because your armor class isn't hit. So
Oh,
it
thank
strikes
God.
forward and you duck immediately as this slimy tendril smacks the wall behind you and then slithers back into the pool. You're at the door now, but you're also effectively in melee with this creature.
Ugh.
So you will have to disengage to get away from it unless you want to invoke another attack of opportunity.
Doddle.
Yeah?
If I punch it, will I be okay?
Let me think about that for a second.
Will she be okay if she
Yeah,
punches it?
if it's corrosive to metal, I would also assume it's, but maybe it's specific. Who knows? I don't know.
When you're using ki, though, you would not be harmed. I'll say that.
Fuck. I don't have that much key, team.
Well, I'm just telling you how it would work out. You probably aren't going, as long as you're not like
That's fine. It's fine.
like wading into the ooze. You're probably not going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
I think you should be fine, Siraye.
I'll just ready myself if I need to dodge or get out of the way again.
Do you want me to hit it?
Probably.
Okay. Here we go. Hawke takes a moment, takes a deep breath, opens his eyes, and he points his finger at the ooze. And for a brief moment, you just see a white flash in his eyes as he shouts, like, which is celestial for, by my hand you will die. And I am going to do a bonus action Hexblade's Curse. Yeah, once per short rest as a bonus action, I can choose one creature I see within 30 feet and curse it for a minute or until the target dies. And I gain +3 bonus to damage rolls, and I score a critical hit on 19 or 20. Oh, and I gain +7 when I hit. So I'm going to attack it with my green flame blade.
Okay, so your blade immediately just ignites into flame and you rush forward. Go ahead and roll to strike.
That's a 14 to hit?
14 absolutely hits. This thing is on the floor.
And I'm going to Divine Smite on top of it. Because why not? So that's 12 slashing plus the 3 from my Hexblade's Curse. That's 17 plus 4 fire. So that's 21. And then I'm going to second level Divine Smite, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 3d8.
Okay, so you've already done 21, and then you're doing you're stacking all of your abilities onto this to do 3d8 of additional damage.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and roll that, please, Hawke.
That is another 10. That's 31 points.
Yeah, so Hawke steps forward, his blade flaming, rushes forward and strikes against this ooze, and it immediately reels in pain as all of these pseudopods shoot up around Hawke, trying to envelop him, but there's a blast of this arcane energy that engulfs the entire thing, and the green moss that was grown over this ooze dissipates, and you see that it's just this empty, translucent gray sludge that explodes outward and turns into ash, falling all around you in like a pool. As immediately these ashes blow away in the small amount of wind that's been created from this attack.
I just popped it like a fucking pimple.
Yeah, you certainly did.
Gross.
It's dead now.
Well done.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of box are we looking for?
I just like sheath it, and I kind of just awkwardly shift around a little bit.
What are you doing, Maglo? You're up. Sorry, actually, I take that back. It's Doddle's turn. Doddle, what do you want to do?
I want to look around at all these boxes and see if any of them are fit the description.
You're rushing through the boxes, and none of them are a red lacquered box.
None of these are what we're looking for.
Maglo, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Maglo is gonna survey the 4 giant statues to see if they're like trapped or secretly golems or like a living thing. They clearly want what's in this room protected, and the statues don't look kind.
Right. Well, they're not statues. They're suits of armor, actually worn. Yeah, they're actually no, that's okay. They're actually worn by giantkin. However, as you examine them, you realize that they are empty and they don't seem to be enchanted. You don't think. Make an Arcana check, though, to be sure.
17.
You are fairly certain that they are not going to come to life. And if they were, there will be a trigger somewhere in the room to make it happen.
Doddle, you say that the thing we're looking for isn't here?
No.
Alright. Siraye, what are you doing?
I think it must be behind this door. If it's so special, they probably would have put extra protection on the box.
There is a large steel door in front of you, Siraye, with another eye that's being grasped, only this one is metal. And you can see that the interior of the eye, the iris, is in fact a keyhole.
It looks like this requires a key, however.
Not lockpickable?
I might be able to, and I'm gonna pull out my thieves' tools and start looking at it.
Let me get here and give you a hand, lass. Siraye, you take your lockpicks out, and I'm going to give you an advantage on a sleight of hand to pick this lock, because you had an advantage. It's going to be a 10. And as you're working, you realize that you've put yourself into a position where if you retract your tools now, you're going to trigger whatever trap is on this door. So you have to make one more sleight of hand, and you can do so with an advantage, but if you fail it, the trap is going to trigger. Okay, so Bretta looks at you. Now, Siraye, this is very important. I want to make sure that you do not pull the tools back out at this point. I can see now there's some tracings along this door, and I'm thinking that there's something attached to it. Do you see what I'm talking about? You turn the eye inside of the hand, and there's an enormous clicking noise. And the door slides up and away from you as you just manage to pull your tools out of the way. Standing on the other side of the door is a mass of red ooze. And a pseudopod snatches forward, grabs you, Siraye, and pulls you inward.
Ugh, gross.
As Siraye disappears into the dark of the cavern beyond. And that's where we're going to end it today.
Fuck.
Oh,
And that's how Siraye died.
Oh no!
Nah, it takes more than just a ooze to kill me.
Oh, jeez. I was not prepared to one-hit that guy.
Yeah, listen, that's just a patented Hawke beefy hit.
I'm gonna do what's called a Hawke move. I deal massive amounts of damage and feel really awkward about it afterwards.
I feel really awkward.
Wow, you're really... Please don't look at me.
That was fun, guys. Thank you.
Yay,
That was fun.
good job, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. That's great.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I was looking at so I was like, what if I had a pair of my own personal Realms Apart dice. And then I got into a wormhole, and now I'm trying to look up how to make dice.
Oh, it's a long wormhole. It's a deep and dark. I know the answers
goal
to
of
much
mine
of that.
I don't have a 3D printer. And I'm like,
We have a 3D printer if you have any questions on it.
We have 3 3D printers, so we could definitely, if you can get it made up, we can mock them up and mail them out.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording here.